Complete college basketball's greatest rebound and rebuild with a championship.
If you're going to war and I'm coaching, I'm taking these guys.
Baylor, kings of college basketball, #1 in the land, and the trophy is coming to Waco.
Baylor, one of the great turnarounds in college athletics history, national champions in year 18 for Scott Drew.
Our fans that have been with us for the lean years, the good years, and our administration, President Livingstone, Mac Rhodes, they all deserve this. The city of Waco deserves this. Hey, Texas, we got a national championship too. The state deserves it.
Did I stutter?
He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The 2011 winner of the Heisman Trophy is Robert Griffin III, RG3!
Welcome to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Langoliers, base hit to center, and the Baylor Bears win their first Big 12 tournament championship.
Their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Yep, just ready for OU.
You can't handle the truth.
Here's Drake Toll.
And welcome into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. I'm Drake Toll alongside Jack McKenzie. Got Marquise Cooley in studio today. Armstrong Sims taking an old sick day out of the stew, but no worries. We're still live on Up Tempo today. Jeremy Heffner retained as the women's basketball assistant coach still at Baylor. On top of that, men's and women's tennis received their conference accolades yesterday. Outside of that, we're looking at a packed day today. Got a great guest list coming up as well. The Blonde Boys Power Hour is at 1 o'clock. On top of that, Brianna Garcia joins us from Baylor Track at 11:20. She did a live feed with the NCAA and their social media accounts last night. Brianna joins the show today to talk to us about that. Struggles with mental health in their track season. 11:40, Jerry Hill joins the show on Nikki Collin, Baylor Bear Insider. 12:05, Andy Thomas, starting catcher for Baylor baseball. This past week should have been the Big 12 Player of the Week. He joins the show at 12:05. And then Jeremy Heffner, the director of athletics performance for women's basketball, the coach that Nikki Collin retained on her staff to stay at Baylor with her, joins our show at 12:30 to talk to us about why he decided to stay at Baylor, why he trusts Nikki Collin enough to stay at Baylor, and what he looks forward to going into next season with this Lady Bear program and trying to keep as many players as possible in-house and intact for next year. Again, I'm Drake Toll alongside Jack McKenzie and Marquise Cooley. Here's where I want to start today. I'm not happy. It's Wednesday. We're halfway there. We're close to the end of the week, and I'll tell you, Bob? I'm not happy. I woke up this morning, and there was plenty to be happy about, but I cannot get over things that I've seen in the last couple of days of sports that have absolutely bugged me, and that I am just not content with. I'm not happy with. The first of these is from Texas Football Life. Here's where I want to go for a second. We're going to start off the show today with why I'm not happy and examples and evidence as to why it's okay that I'm not happy. First being with Texas Sports Life post-spring camp Texas FBS power rankings. So basically, this is a power ranking of the teams across the state of Texas, college football teams that Texas Football Life, which is a part of Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football, has put together. If we can run that graphic. Number 1 on the graphic, Texas A&M. That checks out. That makes sense. Texas at 2. Well, Texas A&M and Texas is always right there, overrated to start a season. Past that, I get it. I get that Sincere McCormick is their running back. I get that UTSA is not a bad football program by any means. They're I'd say a second year. I think it's a second year head coach this upcoming season. UTSA is not bad at all. That said, Jeff Traylor's a good coach. Jeff Traylor's a great coach too. That said, number 3 in the state of Texas. on top of TCU, who I don't think is going to be that great next season, on top of SMU, who I think is going to be better than UTSA, and on top of Houston, who I also think is going to be better than UTSA. Mind you, Houston was horrendous last season.
But we dodged them. We wouldn't play them.
I get it. Baylor wouldn't play Houston. Baylor was not very good last year. I can see Baylor being at 7. That's fine. But UTSA being at 3, UTSA being above TCU, Baylor, SMU, even Texas Tech. In what world? In a 7-game series this season, you're telling me that UTSA would beat Texas Tech 4 out of those 7 games, would beat Baylor, would beat TCU 4 out of those 7 games with a second-year head coach. Yes, just because they have Sincere McCormick, who's maybe the best player in Texas football coming into this season, the running back at UTSA. Even still, you're telling me UTSA is the 3rd best team in the state of Texas coming into this next college football season. That makes no sense to me. No sense to me.
We've got Terrell Bernard. We've got Siaki Ika. Sincere McCormick's not going to do crap.
Well, the teams don't play, but if they did, it wouldn't.
I'm saying on your who would win best out of 7.
Right, best out of 7. Sincere McCormick being in the middle of that mix is fine. He's one of the best players in the state of Texas, but I got a problem. That's one of the reasons I'm starting my day mad today is the fact that Dave Campbell's Texas High School Football, or Texas Football Life as it covers college football, has UTSA as 3rd above TCU. I don't like the fact that Baylor's at 7 below Houston. Houston wasn't very good last season. I really don't love the fact that Baylor's below SMU and TCU too. The jury is still out. TCU is a pretender for me in Big 12 play next year. TCU is a pretender. So Baylor being that far down past TCU and below UTSA being at 3rd, I've got problems already. Outside of that, I saw something else that I got problems with. This is from PFF College Football. PFF College Football released their top 5 returning running backs in college football for this season. And that right there, Tank Bigsby, Deuce Vaughn, Kennedy Brooks, Brian Robinson Jr., and Jarian Ealy from Ole Miss. That's their top 5. They put Deuce Vaughn on the list of top running backs in college football, and he's not even the top running back in his conference. Bryce Hall at Iowa State is one of the best running backs, not just in the Big 12, but in the country. And instead of putting Bryce Hall from Iowa State there, they decided to throw in Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State, who, again, is not even the best running back in his respective conference. On top of that, you've got Brian Robinson, Jarian Ealy. You're telling me Jarian Ealy is better than Bryce Hall? There's no way. Tank Bigsby even. I've got Bryce Hall at number 1 on this list. I think Bryce Hall going into next season, Kennedy Brooks needs to be up there, but Bryce Hall, who is the best running back going into Big 12 play next season, the best running back going into Big 12 play, should be there. Should absolutely be there on this list, not just on this list, but at number 1 on this list. He's the best running back coming into next season in college football. Outside of that, there are more reasons that I'm upset. There are more reasons that I'm upset with not just media doing stupid rankings that make 0 sense. And are you putting any thought into these? This next one being a football drill. This one being from a youth football. It looks like a youth football practice, maybe in Tennessee. They got little Titan stuff on. Somebody said maybe it's in Florida. I don't know where it is. I don't think that part matters. Check this out.
On the whistle. Run. You're good.
So I want to go through some of these comments and remarks that folks have made on the bottom of this. This first one being Dan Orlovsky says this is one of the dumbest things I've seen in youth sports. They look to be 7 or 8 years old. There's no need to be doing anything close to this. Number 2, if obviously outmatched, one's obviously outmatched, and that's on the coach. And 3, whoever put this drill together should face consequences. And then bad coaching all the way around. Don't teach technique. All right. The jury's a little bit out for me on this one. I'm not going to lie to you. The jury's a little bit out for me. I vividly remember being in the 3rd grade, like 8 or 9 years old, full pads, running full speed at people and hitting them. Is this like proper form and tackling? No. The kid leads with his helmet and knocks the guy down with his helmet. I mean, you got to go lower than that. Like, yeah, you can nitpick technique all day, but I think the conversation arises then, A, how much of this can you constitute in youth sports? How much contact can you constitute in youth football? B, in this, the reprimand for these coaches, I guess I'm confused. These are the same drills, a lot of the same drills that you find collegiate teams running or junior high. Yeah, we ran this in junior high.
I'm confused why people are mad. it was the ball carrier leveling that hit.
Right.
You got to learn, get your pad level low as the tackler. Like, come on.
And that's why we're in this drill. In middle school, in junior high, in Pee Wee football. I mean, this is the same drill that we used to run. I get being upset that right there happened and it looks egregious, but things like that happen all the time in youth football. Like that's one of the risks you take in youth football. That's the same drill that we ran. I get people that are upset about it, that aren't happy with how egregious the hit looks, and yeah, it looks like the kid got hurt. I remember getting my bell rung. You're 9. You're full pads. Is that too young? For a lot of folks, maybe. But I remember being right there. A lot of folks were. A lot of people that are listening right now that played youth football. It's the same place you were. At what point, where do you draw the line, and do you need to draw the line? The last thing I'm mad about today, before we get into, we're going to hit a commercial break. Brianna Garcia is going to join our show today. Last thing I'm mad about, this from the NBA last night. LaMelo Ball got I know we don't cover the NBA, but check this out.
Austin Rivers felt he was the one who got fouled. And a technical foul called on who? Is it on LaMelo? We're going to come the other way, and Jokic will have another technical.
That right there from the NBA last night, and that is the exact reason. So look at that right there. LaMelo Ball, the referee, ball goes up for an and-one, got the layup, and the referee puts his arm around LaMelo Ball's torso, right around his hip. And LaMelo Ball doesn't like that. I don't know. Maybe he was confused and thought it was a player. I'm not sure what he thought, but he pulled the referee's hand pretty aggressively. He pulled the referee's hand away from his body, which the referee wasn't an egregious move from the referee. He was trying to stop him. It looks like he was just trying to stop him, but Ball didn't like it. Like, hey, don't touch me, don't grab me. He got a technical for it. That's why I don't watch the NBA. I don't like it. It's the softest thing in the world, man. If I'm an NBA player right now, I'm so frustrated with officiating. Like, what is even the point? I'm watching it right now. I'm replaying it right now. And the referee just grabs him around the hip. And I don't know. Do I want to be grabbed around the hip even if somebody's catching me? But maybe he thought it was another player, too. I don't like it. A technical foul. That does not constitute a technical foul. Also, congratulations to Troy Campbell. Give it up. New high school head boys basketball coach at Valonia High School in Valonia, Arkansas. Proud alumni right here. It's a good day today. It was Troy Campbell, former assistant coach at Central High School, a couple of state championships over there. Now the head coach at Valonia. They have filled the vacancy. So all of you out there, the listeners that applied for the job, very sorry you had to find out right here, right now, the breaking news that Troy Campbell's been hired at Valonia. Nice try. Better luck next time. But congratulations to Troy and his family in Valonia for bringing in a big-time hire from Central High School. Speaking of big time, coming up after this, we got Brianna Garcia joining the show. She spoke with the NCAA on the NCAA social media the other night. They did a live stream, and she was a big part of that, a podcast with the actual governing body on social media. After that, we're joined by Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear insider. Following Jerry Hill, you got Andy Thomas and Jeremy Heffner today. It's a loaded day on the show. You're not going to want to go anywhere. When we come back from this break, we're joined by Brianna Garcia. She is Baylor track star who talked to the NCAA via social media, via podcast, about her struggles with mental health, her ability to overcome that, and she's going to fill us in a little bit more on the Baylor outdoor track and field season. They're actually on their way to Manhattan, as I understand it right now. So I'm Drake Toll. It's Jack McKenzie. We got Marquise Cooley in studio with us. We're going to hit another Jack's Minute right here, roll into a commercial break, and be right back with Brianna Garcia. Don't go anywhere. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nikki Cullen has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Cullen, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Cullen, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 First Team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned First Team All-Conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 first team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home first team all-conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished 3rd in Heisman voting in 2007 and is 2nd in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Texas Board Certified Personal Injury Trial Lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Ram Truck Month means special pricing on the new 2021 Ram trucks at Allen Samuels. The three-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab, has special values up to $5,500 or 0% for 84 months. Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco. Central Texas' new Ram commercial truck headquarters with 3,500 and 5,500 chassis cabs and other great work trucks. Visit Allen Samuels today. It's Ram Truck Month.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Sit down, Bob. I'm not happy, Bob. Not happy.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. PicKell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Wednesday, everybody. And what a Wednesday it is. We're starting the show off big today. Got Brianna Garcia joining us. She joined the NCAA for a podcast on just the other night, actually. College Sports Conversations is what it called, with the NCAA, with Brianna Garcia, Baylor Track and Field, and now she's with us today. That was Brianna. So Monday night, you got to go on with the governing body of collegiate athletics, do a podcast on mental health and a little bit about you, your story, your season. Walk me through about how all this got set up.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool experience. So I am in a reporting and writing class at Baylor, and we got an opportunity to write an opinion piece and get put into the Baylor Lariat. So I wrote a piece about my experience during quarantine as a student athlete, specifically like when I had COVID. And I guess one of the people from the communications board at NCAA found it, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So they were really excited to, get a hold of me. They emailed me, and we just set up a time to do a Zoom interview and just have a conversation. But it was really cool. Like you said, I got to not just speak about my mental health during quarantine, but talk about my story that I've gone through during college. And it was just a really humbling experience. And, getting to share my story is amazing.
Brianna, walk me through, for those that maybe weren't able to listen to the College Sports Conversation podcast or maybe haven't read your article, walk me through some of the struggles that you've overcome so far as a student athlete being at Baylor.
So my first semester of college, I played volleyball at the University of Central Florida, and I was supposed to go there for track as well. And at the end of our season, we had meetings with our coaches. And basically, they didn't want me to run track until my 5th year of college. And I'm a 400-meter hurdler. And that's really hard to just wait until I'm like 23 years old, 22 to run that race. So I just thought it was best to maybe get into the transfer portal. And Baylor had an opening spot. And I'm from Houston. So being able to be closer to home was amazing. But I knew I was going to have to drop volleyball. And that was really difficult. But it was the best decision I've ever made. And it was definitely a struggle coming into Baylor. During the winter semester, everyone already has their friend groups. And I had to train for just like 10 days. And then I went to my first indoor meet. So it was really hard, but I was able to overcome it. And like I said, it's been the best decision I've ever made. And Baylor University was the perfect place that I could have chose.
Brianna, take me through, when quarantine hit, especially for an athlete. I don't think enough people get the perspective how you're in the middle of a season that you've trained for, and you're competing hopefully for a Big 12 championship, a spot in the national championship. There's so many goals and accolades you set for yourself, and then the bottom falls out. Everything's canceled, and your season's gone just like that. Really so abruptly. Take me through what that was like for you in an athlete's perspective.
Yeah, so at first, we just kind of talked about, my coaches were saying maybe just the first outdoor meet, maybe the second meet was going to be canceled, but we were going to be coming back because it was spring break. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll go home, train or whatever. And the next day, everything completely shut down. They canceled everything. And like I said, I'm a 400-meter hurdler. So my race is not an indoor season, which we had last year. So I didn't get to run 400-meter hurdles. And it's been it was like a year and a half since I ran it when it came up this year. So COVID was really hard, but I really put myself in other people's shoes, and I was like, you know what, I don't have my sport. That is really difficult. But there's other people that didn't get the Olympic trials, that maybe even on a deeper level lost someone in their family. Like, COVID was really, really hard. Families lost their jobs, and I just had to tell myself, like, I'm perfectly fine. I'll be okay. I'll get my season next year. I just have to be patient. And I still worked out when I was at home, but it was really hard because I wasn't with my teammates. I wasn't getting motivated by my coaches. And, I wasn't doing something that I really loved, which is hurdling. But I knew the time was going to come around, and we just all had to fight through this virus. But the part that I struggled with a lot that I talked about was when I had COVID. So just a short story about it. I was direct contact. And when you're direct contact, you still have to quarantine. So I think it's a total of 14 days. I think it's changed to 10 now, but at the time it was 14. So when you're a direct contact, you have to get tested I believe it's like your 4th and 10th day. I could be wrong. So my mom was like, hey, if you're negative on your 4th day, you can come home, come stay with us. Cause it was really hard for me staying in my apartment. Like I was not feeling well. I was like in a mental, like depressive state. So it was really nice that I tested negative on my 4th day. So I went home, and quarantined in Houston. So while I was at home on my 9th day of my quarantine, I started getting symptoms. I lost my taste and my smell. I was really tired. I was getting out of breath really easily. So I went to go get tested, and unfortunately I had COVID, and then I had to add 10 more days onto that. So I was basically in quarantine for almost 3 weeks. And it was really hard. I had a lot of anxiety just thinking about, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to be in shape when I come back. All my teammates are working out every day, getting ready for the indoor season, and I'm going to come back being left behind. It was really hard, but it was nice to have my parents there. But definitely like my anxiety and depression were arising when I was at home.
Brianna, along with that, I know I caught a lot of the podcasts you were part of with the NCAA, and you spoke outwardly about your faith and how that helped you get through it, and how Baylor's your ability to share your faith and be full in your faith at Baylor is part of what helped you through depression and anxiety. Take us through how big of a factor faith played in this.
Oh, yeah. No, everyone at Baylor, the coaches, my teammates, even students, they're just so open about it, and everyone's there for you. And we have a small group that we meet once every week, and I've had the blessing to go to it and have other teammates back me up. And, I've had some struggles with my faith, but I've definitely grown, and just having other people at Baylor around you to uplift you and just to know that other people are there for you is amazing, especially in quarantine, in the midst of quarantine. But it really is such a different university because of the faith that it brings. I feel like a lot of private universities might not have those aspects, but Baylor really does. And there's so many resources around you that you can find. And it doesn't have to be through athletics. There's so many students, many great churches in the Waco area with small groups. So just getting myself involved in that really helped me with my mental problems and just talking with other people and being vulnerable.
Well, Brianna, now coming into this weekend, you guys headed to the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas with the Big 12 Outdoors. You're on the cusp of the Big 12 Outdoors. Walk me through what you're looking forward to this weekend. It should be a big meet.
Oh, no, I'm really excited. So I actually have been injured. I strained my hamstring about 7 weeks ago, and this will be my first meet back. I've only ran one outdoor meet, so I'm of course, I'm nervous, but I'm super excited, and I know our team is really excited as well. We're on the bus right now, and the energy in here is just great. Everyone is just really laughing and just having a great time. We're all dressed up. But I'm really excited to see the competition. There's been a lot of record-breaking national jumps, throws, runs. Like, it's going to be a great meet. Hopefully the weather clears up a little bit. It's supposed to be storming, but I'm really excited to see what everyone can do, drop some times, PR. So I'm really excited.
Take me through, Brianna, too. This is the first time you guys have competed here in a couple of weeks. From a coaching standpoint, with your coaches and what they put together, how does the team prepare to bring everybody to Manhattan, Kansas, and compete in the Big 12 Outdoor Championship? What all goes into this?
Just practice and health. We got to eat well. We got to drink, stay hydrated. Just really communicate with your coaches as well. I think one thing that I talked about in my talk is like, you have to be comfortable with your coach, and not just have one relationship with them. You have to have a deeper relationship. And, we've just been working on the little things, the small things like blocks, or for the hurdlers, we are just going over like the first couple of the 400-meter start. So we're comfortable at the beginning of our race. But yeah, just working on small things, nothing too major to get us ready. And when we get into Manhattan, we're going to get there later tonight, but tomorrow we'll have some practice to get in, work on some tweaks, just get ready for Saturday and Sunday.
Brianna, along with that, a lot of these seniors, a lot of the graduates that are just now getting done with college from an academic standpoint, this will be one of the last meets that you get to share with those guys. What is that like?
It's definitely very bittersweet. It's crazy to think that I've been with most of these seniors for 3 years now, and it's just crazy how time has flown. But, whatever happens when they compete, I'm going to be there for them. and we're going to cheer them all on because you never know, this could be their last race, and they just got to go out there and glorify God and just run and have fun. And I'm really excited to watch them and cheer them on. It's really cool to be by their side for these past couple of years.
And Brianna, along with it, you look at the women's side of Baylor track and field and what you guys have been able to do across the course of this season. It's been remarkable, even in the indoor. What makes this team so good this year?
Well, yeah, you were talking about Akira and Aaliyah. They won the 60-meter hurdles and the 800. That was such a cool experience watching that. I watched it on my computer. But yeah, I would say this year is just so different. You know, even at practice, like we just work really hard. And we want what's best for each other. I think, you know, track is really hard because it is a team sport, but it's also individual. And sometimes, you know, you can compare yourself to others and it can kind of get to the best of you. But no, we want what's best for every single one of our teammates. And we're just ready to get after it and work hard this weekend.
Brianna, last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. I mean, you talked about mental health, anxiety, depression, and how you fought through that with faith and your family, and then Baylor University as well. For those that are still struggling with anxiety, depression, and just the uncertainties that COVID is still bringing to people across the country, whether they be athletes or not, what is your message?
So one thing that I really talked about is being vulnerable. I think if you have all these problems going on in your head is so strong and can make you think certain things that you never thought you can think before. But being vulnerable and opening up to people is really important. I think, you know, you can't do everything by yourself. We talk about that a lot in church. You've got to have God. You have so many people that want what's best for you. So just be vulnerable, open up to other people, open up to yourself, let yourself allow to speak to others. It's really important because if you don't, you're not going to be able to get better. I think and it's really important to do that. So definitely being vulnerable and just anything is possible, and mental health is very, very, very difficult. Being a student, being anybody. So yeah, that was my main takeaway is just to be vulnerable with others and let other people come in and help you and just stay positive.
Wow. Brianna, thank you so much for bringing your perspective to the show today. Before we get you out of here, I got a couple Bear Games questions for you. The first being one that I'm going to tailor toward you specifically. If you've got to stop that bus right now in the next town and take the whole team out to eat somewhere, where are you choosing?
The Czech stop. I think we're close to West.
Beautiful call. Beautiful call. Check stop locked in. Number two, Brianna, we've been talking the last couple of days. You know, Baylor baseball had a 17-run inning on Sunday. Just a huge, huge display for that team. Talking to people about their greatest individual athletic achievements. What's the one game, the one meet where you just really outperformed what you expected and really showed out?
It was probably my opening meet in indoor. The first time I ever did our 600 yards. I was really nervous because it's a super hard race, but I surprised myself and finished a lot quicker than I thought I was going to be.
Lock that in too. Thank you, Brianna, for not just the Bear Games, but bringing perspective on anxiety, depression, your story, what you went through. And I know it was an honor for you, and to get to see a Bear represented by the NCAA across social media was great for us. And congratulations on all your success, and keep going. I love this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, that's Brianna Garcia, Baylor track and field team, joining the show today to talk about her anxiety, depression, her fight with that, and being able to overcome that. Baylor track star, and joined the NCAA for a podcast live the other night across social media with the governing body of college athletics. When we come back, we'll be joined by Baylor Bear insider Jerry Hill to talk about Nicki Collen, the hire at Baylor. We're going to get some Baylor perspective on what Collen brings to the table for the university, her retaining of Jeremy Heffner, and how big that's going to be going into next season, what that says about Nicki Collen and her team going into next season. I'm Drake Toll alongside Jack McKenzie. We got Marquise Cooley in here. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nicki Collen has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Collen, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Colin, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 first team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned first-team all-conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 first team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home first team all-conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished third in Heisman voting in 2007 and is second in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy, last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beet potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll and J.D. PicKell for the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Wednesday, everybody. A little bit of May 12th action today, talking all things Baylor athletics. Men's tennis off to Orlando this weekend in the top 16, the old Sweet 16. You got softball and baseball both in action as well. Track going to the Big 12 championships. Women's basketball, new head coach. Men's basketball still on that recruiting trail, pulling out transfers left and right. And now joining the show, the biggest moment of the week, Jerry Hill coming on with us. Jerry, what's going on?
Try to bring what I got, you know?
Hey, look, you're bringing the heat. And that at least we can accept. Jerry, I mean, it's been a long couple of weeks talking women's basketball higher, baseball, what baseball's doing as of late, and then you're following softball, track, tennis. I mean, it seems like everything, it usually quiets down this time of year, and that just hasn't happened.
Yeah, it was funny, Drake, because when I was working at the Waco Trib for 25 years, it seemed like the fall was that busy time because football was my main feed, and man, it was just like, 24/7 with football and just, so I was slammed in the fall. But really, since I've come to Baylor, and this is my 13th year at Baylor, there's really not a slow period. I mean, the spring seems like it's even busier because you are dealing with a lot more sports and stuff. And certainly this year with, the women's basketball change, with men's basketball winning the national championship, and just so many of the sports doing really well. Like I said, men's tennis headed to Orlando tomorrow, and we'll play, I believe, Ole Miss on Monday. So yeah, there's a lot of teams going and blowing, and I was there for all 17 runs of that fifth inning with baseball. So yeah, it's been a fun time.
Jerry, I do want to ask you before we get too far in the interview, did Baylor men's basketball, did they win a national championship still? Is that still real?
Dude, they won a natty. I mean, they won a national. And I do have to kind of pinch myself sometimes, like, oh, wow. Men's basketball won a national championship. It wasn't Duke, it wasn't whoever, whatever blue blood you want to say. It was Baylor this year. Baylor hoisted that trophy. So a lot of fun, man.
A lot of fun, a lot going on still. And Jerry, I'll tell you, it's the oddest thing to me. Baylor basketball wins a national championship, and the numbers do great. A lot of folks are excited. There's a lot of buzz. And then Kim Mulkey, women's basketball, Nikki Collin, there's that 2-week period where Waco just burns to the ground. I mean, everything, it just went crazy. From your perspective, with the entire situation, is there any way that we could have seen this coming, the transition out of Kim Mulkey and into a new era of women's basketball?
No, I will say no, because I thought Kim was far enough along in her career that she wouldn't move somewhere else this late in her career. And I'm not trying to say she's old, because we're about the same age. She's actually a little younger than I am. But, I didn't see her making that move. Now, granted, I think this probably was the one place where she would move at this point in her career, or maybe ever, that she would move for, was to go back home to Louisiana, to LSU, and a chance to revitalize a program that really, it really hadn't been very good, or certainly to the level she would, I'm sure, like to take it to, since really they played them, in the national tournament back in 2005 in the semifinals.
For those that are just joining us, Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider, on the show today. Jerry, along with that, you got Mulkey going back home to LSU. One of the things, she's done some interviews with Matt Mosley and those locally, and one of the things that I've really appreciated about the entire situation is the kind words that she's had to say about Baylor, her time at Baylor. Kramer said the same thing to us on our show. And one of the remarks that they both kind of touched on is her being able to come back, whether it be in that Naismith trophy or the Naismith Hall of Fame ceremony, or whether it be past that 20 years from now when they honor her some way at Baylor University and just have those clean ties with one another and still a relationship. Is that something that you foresee being in the works, or that you want to see those two being mutual partners for years to come?
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about and Coach Collins said it in her introductory press conference. When you think about Baylor women's basketball, Lady Bear basketball, you think of Kim Mulkey. They're kind of synonymous, and basically the same way too. When you think of Kim Mulkey, you think Baylor basketball. Maybe that changes over the next 5 years or whatever when she does really well at LSU. But no, I think certainly, and she's already in the Hall of Fame, Drake. I mean, she's already in the Baylor Hall of Fame. And she has recognized, or she recognizes, that she's going into the Naismith Hall of Fame because of what she did at Baylor. She had 21 unbelievable years here, won 3 national championships, and 23, I think, combined, Big 12 championships between the tourney and regular season. So, yeah, I mean, certainly what she did here, it's going to hard for anybody to duplicate, and certainly needs to be recognized. Like I said, she's already in the Baylor Hall of Fame. Maybe you do at some point, recognize her in terms of the court or a statue or something, because she deserves it, honestly. I mean, with what she did with a program that, she took from last to first in a short period of time. I mean, they were last place in the Big 12 when she came in. I think they won like 9 games, something like that the year before. And then she won 20 pretty much every year. Absolutely. And so she got them in the NCAA tournament in her first year. They had never been, and she took them to the NCAA tournament in her first year. So yeah, unbelievable what she's done. And Drake, I think what people need to recognize too is, because there was, I sensed, whether it was on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, I think there were some fans that were mad, and I can understand that because she was here 21 years. But I think as fans, we also need to recognize that, she gave us 21 years. She's from Louisiana, and she gave us 21 years, and look at what she did with this program. So don't ever hate Kim Mulkey. Recognize what she did and thank her for what she did. Because there should be no hate, and really either way, I don't think there should be hate either way. But man, unbelievable what she was able to do with that program.
I tell you, somebody tweeted out right after, said, listen, anybody that lives in Waco for 15 years has every right to go and do whatever they please after that 15 years is up for you.
Yeah.
And it's certainly applicable here. Jerry, going into the coaching search, you got Mack Rhoades putting together his search committee. And if there's one thing that we've learned about Mack Rhoades, it's that he is synonymous with the word lockbox when it comes to coaching hires. There's no information that gets out of that search until the day the hire is made. And that was obviously, it also checked out here. There's the same thing here in this coaching search. How vital is that from a university standpoint to have an athletic director, a search committee that keeps things so on lock?
Yeah, and Drake, of course, I've only dealt basically with one university, but I've never seen this where an AD is able to just kind of bunker down and really just nothing leak out. Now, and that's not just from Mack, that's from everybody on that search committee. That's with everybody within the university that, had any. Now, I did not have any knowledge at all, but I'm just saying, for that to be that locked down and that quiet, and it wasn't a real long time. But I even go back to Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule's name wasn't even out there. There was nobody that had Matt Rhule's name when Mack hired him. Same thing. Dave Aranda's name may have popped up, but I don't remember much about him either. And then same thing with Nikki Collin. There were a lot of names being floated out there, and here they're going to look this way. This is a coaching candidate. I don't know about you, but I never heard Nikki Collin's name. It's amazing what he's able to do. And like I said, I think it goes beyond Mack. It goes to the rest of the staff. It goes to that search committee that they're able to, kind of keep their mouths shut until the moment. And I think it is vital. It allows them to do their job and kind of do due diligence and get it done without any smoke coming out. And that's exactly what you've gotten from Mack on any of these big hires is there's no smoke. I mean, you may see some or you may think you see some, but there's no smoke until right when it's announced. Nothing against David Smoak, by the way. But
Well, Jerry, I'll tell you, I wholly believe, despite everything that Mac has said, despite everything the search committee said, he hired Nikki Collin probably like the Tuesday before and just started sending airplanes and phone calls out just so folks could track them. And I mean, there are folks tracking airplanes that had probably no one on that Mac just sent out as a decoy. But obviously, Nikki Collin gets the hire. The reaction immediately from fans was interesting. There's a lot on both sides, and I knew it seemed like the press conference for Collin would be huge on winning the fan base. I don't know if any coach's A1 goal is to win a fan base in a press conference. It shouldn't be about that. I don't think Collins was, but she did it anyway. From what I saw. For you, I know that you worked for the Lariat during the, you've been there since what? You covered the Immortal 10 for the Lariat, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, right. That's right.
So you've seen your fair share of coaching opening press conferences. Along with that, where do you put Nikki Collins? What was your assessment of her opener?
Well, and here's the thing, Drake, and I'll give her all the credit for this, is she acknowledged Kim. And I thought that was big because I think coming into that position, you have to. It's, as she said, and it may have been during my one-on-one time with her, it's a daunting task. That is a daunting task to follow a Hall of Fame coach, that this program is Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey is this program, and that's what she's following. But she acknowledged her, and honestly, she's not here without Kim Mulkey. Like, if Kim Mulkey hadn't built this or created this monster, Nikki Collins not here. She's not leaving the WNBA. She's not leaving the Atlanta Dream for this job. She wouldn't have left for what Kim came in 2000 when, like I said, they won like 7 games the year before. So the fact that she did that, and that helped her win over that fan base, because you know what? That fan base loves them some Kim Mulkey, and rightfully so again. But yes, I thought she knocked it out of the park. And if you want me to compare, it's as good as I've been to, honestly. And I'm talking about going back to my Waco Trib days when I would, cover different press conferences. I think she did as good a job as you can do in an opening press conference. And honestly, a lot of it came down to that honesty. She was honest about her feelings. She was honest about herself. She was humble about herself. But then at the end, she did say, because I think you asked the question, she's confident. She's a very confident person, a very confident coach. And I think you could see that come out in her. Yes, you have the humility, but by God, she's confident too.
Confidence without an ego. You can see it. Right. Confidence without an ego. Jerry, along with that, she talked about coming into this program and trying to sustain success and not being Kim Mulkey, building her own. Right. What does it take? I mean, you're looking. Well, before I ask that, though, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because I do want to know. For those that weren't here 20, 25 years ago, I know you've been covering, not since the Immortal 10, but you've been covering Baylor athletics for a while.
Yeah.
It was unthinkable to have a coach leave the pros in any sport to come coach at Baylor in any sport, or to go from Baylor, a la Matt Rule, and coach in the pros. How vastly different is this in juxtaposition to where the athletic program was 25 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, Drake, you got to go really far back to even see a time when a sitting head coach at Baylor went somewhere else to be a head coach. And certainly, I mean, there were a few cases where a head coach came here, but you would never see that time where, and Grant Taft, when he was here, he had a few chances. USC came calling and this and that. But no, you didn't have those situations at all. I do think the WNBA is a little different. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the dollar value and stuff of the NFL, the NBA. It's sponsored by the NBA. So I think there's a little bit of a different thing there in terms of it's not the same as, say, an NFL coach coming to Baylor to be the football team's coach, or even an NBA coach coming to Baylor to be the basketball coach. So I think there is a little difference there. And even in terms of money, I haven't seen anything on her contract, but I guarantee you she's making more money here than she did at Atlanta. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you just did not see that kind of thing. And so in a span of less than 2 years, you've seen a Baylor coach go to the pros and a pro coach come to Baylor. So interesting that you've had that dynamic here, twice in less than 2 years.
Yeah. Along with it, Jerry, the hiring of Nikki Collin, her coming WNBA Coach of the Year in 2018, a great collegiate career, too, along with her husband, and then going with Carl Smesko at Florida Gulf Coast. She was at Colorado State with a star-studded staff, too, Reagan Peebley being there, and then Coach Miller as well, who's with the Sun now. All that put together, there are different parts, X's and O's pieces, that make me confident that Nikki Collin will win at Baylor. What is it that makes you confident in the same?
Yeah, and I think there was some question about her resume in terms of, the lack of head coaching experience on the college level. Guess what? Kim Mulkey had zero. She had zero head coaching experience, period, when she came here. And I probably shouldn't compare them, but Kim had been at Louisiana Tech for 15 years, had never been at another, school. So all of her experience came from Louisiana Tech, and she had 15 years as an associate head coach, I think at one point, but 15 years at Louisiana Tech. Nikki Collin has 14 years coaching experience, including 3 years as a head coach on the pro level. And then, like you said, 9 years as a college assistant and 2 years at Connecticut in the WNBA as well. So she's had 5 years pro experience. I think it is that experience that she's had, and I think it's that confidence that she has. I can certainly feed off of that. I feel like if she's that confident, she's going to get it done, and she has gotten it done at different levels. Like you said, 3 years ago, she was the WNBA Coach of the Year in her first year as a head coach. So I have every confidence that she can do it at Baylor. And certainly we know a big part of that will be her ability to recruit and bring in a staff, and then be able to recruit and keep bringing in these players that Kim and her staff had done such a great job of building that, talent base that you've got right now. You're sitting here right now. I think Kim said in her interview with Matt Mosley, this is a top 5 team. She didn't leave the cupboard bare. So I think as long as you kind of keep those pieces together, you're talking about a top 5, top 10 team that she's walking into. Now, what do you do from there? How do you take it from there? So, yeah, I think I do. I have confidence that she's going to get it done here.
Well, Jerry, there's still so much to be seen going into this offseason. I know she retained. We're running out of time, but I got to sneak this one in here. Andy Thomas is at 12:05. We're gonna he'll understand. Andy Thomas will understand. Coach Heffner coming back. Jeremy Heffner, who joins the show today at 12:30. How big of a recruiting win is that for Coach Collin, and what does that show? What does that say about her bringing him back, retaining him on the staff?
And I think it says that she acknowledges what Jeremy has done, in 2 different stints at Baylor. He came back after going to Tyler for a couple of years. So great for Jeremy. I actually reached out to him yesterday and said, hey, man, congrats. Glad you're sticking around. And, he thanked me, but in all caps, he said, me too, meaning he's very excited about being here. And so, I think great win for Nikki. And, I think, too, that's great for those players that have been here. They know Jeremy. They spend probably as much time, if not more, and particularly right now, they're going to spend more time with Jeremy Heffner than they will with Nikki Collin. So I think it is a huge win for her, and great for the program, great for Jeremy and his wife, Carly, that they get to stay in Waco and be a part of this program.
I love it. Jerry, thanks for all your perspective on Nikki Collin, Kim Mulkey leaving this hire, and where Baylor women's basketball is now. Before we get you out of here, our Bear Games question of the day. Baylor baseball put up a 17 spot on Sunday. So on Monday, we asked your most demoralizing loss. On Tuesday, we asked your most triumphant victory, or the biggest blowout you've been a part of on the winning side. And today we're asking your greatest individual performance in an athletic event ever. Jerry, tell me you dropped a 50-piece in Little League Baseball. Give me something, Jerry.
Okay, I will give you this one. And the golf course isn't even open anymore. But I had a hole-in-one there was a course here in town, James Conley Golf Course. And it was a par 3. It was legit. It wasn't like one of these 100-yard. It was 183 yards. And I hit every bit of a 3-iron and made a hole-in-one. So I would say that's my number one athletic achievement. Beyond that, it was placing 8th in the district track meet in a JV, junior varsity track meet, or cross-country meet, as a senior. So I'll go with the hole-in-one over that one.
Yeah, I think locking in the hole-in-one, although there is no video evidence. Is there?
There is no video evidence, but I do have witnesses. So there are people that will vouch for me.
We can corroborate it at least. Jerry, Thanks so much for joining the show today and bringing the perspective from the Baylor side. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, Drake. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, that was Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider, joining the show today to talk about Nikki Collin, Baylor women's basketball, and the state of Baylor women's basketball moving forward, along with the coaching hire and retaining Coach Jeremy Heffner, who joins our show at 12:30 today. When we come back, Andy Thomas, the should-be Big 12 Player of the Week, joins our show. Baylor baseball starting catcher. Don't go anywhere. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nikki Collin has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Collin, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master's Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Collin, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 First Team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned First Team All-Conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 First Team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home First Team All-Conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished 3rd in Heisman voting in 2007 and is 2nd in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
It was broad daylight. I stepped into a gas station for 5 minutes to grab a snack, and just like that, my car was broken into. They made out like a bandit. My laptop, my phone, everything. I called my agent to see what could be done, and he restored my faith in humanity. My claim was processed so quickly, and I was able to recover my losses.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Listen, in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of people moving in from out of state to Waco thanks to Chipper and JoJo. And while we welcome these new citizens, they unfortunately brought some of their bad habits with them. Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, and you know what I'm talking about. Naked trucks. You'd think everyone moved here from McNewtville. But we shouldn't judge them, we should help them. For example, when you see a recent transplant truck from a less civilized state like California, instead of saying, "Your truck is disgusting, your bed is exposed, get a bed cover on that truck, buddy," that's a bit harsh. Instead, try something like, in Texas, it's not polite to drive around with your bed exposed. Maybe you should check out the excellent selection of bed covers at Pickup Outfitters. And then if they refuse, you can say, "Well, I hear New Mexico's a nice state." Let's help our new neighbors and let them know that truck nudity is not okay. Let them know about Pickup Outfitters of Waco and send them to our website, createacommotion.com.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Cynthia, Jesus died for our Cynthias.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Julia Roberts, Julia Love.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll.
And welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy, what is it? It's Wednesday? Happy Wednesday, everybody. May 12th today. Joining the show by who would have been, should have been, the Big 12 Player of the Week. That is Andy Thomas, the star catcher for Baylor baseball. Who, Andy, somebody tells me that it was your half birthday last week, and you are now officially 28 and a half. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure it wasn't Max from Twitter.
Yeah, it wasn't Max, but he did let me know. I think it was Kettler. Kettler let me know that you're pushing 30.
That's funny coming from an old guy.
Exactly, another one of the old guys. He let me know you're pushing 30, and some of the guys on the team just learned how to drive a couple of years ago. So maybe, hey, the dynamic's working, though, right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, baby. All right, so, Andy, as those at home, as you can tell, Andy just got a haircut. Really rocking the flow going on right now. Just slick. Give us a little plug. Just getting a haircut. You're doing your random midday duties on a Wednesday. Yeah,
absolutely. Had an interview at the field this morning. Got a haircut at Scissors. Just got done with that and practice at 2. So
I love
good morning so far. Glad to be here.
Busy day, early summer. Hopefully the rain stays away today. Andy, let's get right into the thick of it. Last time you came on this show, you guys were in the middle of a win streak. I think it was 6 or 7 games at that point in time. Xavier, Memphis kind of stacked back to back. And a lot of folks were saying, they said, look, Baylor baseball started 2-4, 2-5, somewhere around there. And yes, they've won X amount of games in a row, but is it legit? Is it real? Is this team do they really have postseason aspirations? And that answer now is yes. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong.
Andy, what changed from Series 1, UTRGV, to today? What is different now?
Experience. We got a really young team, and getting those guys experience. It's never okay or never good to lose, but getting those losses under our belt gets these young guys fired up a little bit, builds a fire under some of their, and so having those series losses early, it's important for these guys to get experience. We got a lot of young dudes who, have never gone through a Big 12 season before. And so getting that experience under their belt and starting to catch a little fire now, we're on a good road for the postseason.
Andy, what is that like for you? One of the older guys on the team, one of those senior guys that decided to come back. I mean, Kettler said it kind of jokingly, but he's not wrong. There are guys that are 2 or 3 years removed from learning how to drive a car on this team playing alongside you. What is it like to have that mix of seniors alongside some young guys that, like you said, haven't seen Big 12 action?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a really interesting dynamic. At times it's, we're speaking 2 different languages. They're making jokes that, the fifth years don't even understand. And we're saying stuff and they're like, we weren't even born yet. But no, it's good. It's a good dichotomy between the old and the young. We have the young guys who, play a little bit different. They're more aggressive. They're, a little bit more fearless than some of us older guys are, but that's good. And then we got the experience from us old guys who, show them the ropes a little bit and lead them in the right direction. And then they just go off. You got guys like Jared and Trey, Kyle Nevin, some of our young arms. The future of the program's in really good shape, and we're looking pretty good for this year.
Andy, what did it take to come together as a team when you look at you said the dichotomy, old and young? Was there a turning point, a moment where things just meshed into one, or was this a long process to bring together the different age groups?
It's a process. It's definitely not a one-time thing. This has been months and months and months of hard work and a lot of intentional efforts from both sides. Both sides have to understand, hey, look, these dudes are old. They're gonna show up when it matters. It's gonna be a little bit different than us, who are gonna have to be, grinders day in and day out. But no, it's definitely not a quick process at all. This has been hard, especially with COVID. You don't have your usual bonding sessions where guys all hang out together at someone's house, or you guys go and do fun stuff like a golf outing or something like that. That doesn't happen as much with COVID. So it's been extremely difficult getting everybody on the same page and on the same wavelength as far as old and young that way. So, but I think we've done a pretty good job of it. A lot of the older guys have taken each, 2 or 3 younger guys under their wing and tried to show them what the ropes are like around here. So it's been fun.
Andy, I talked about starting the season 2-4. There were a lot of questions that came up then. And then you start conference play at 1-5 with a series against Texas and the sweep against TCU in Fort Worth. Was the message the same after both of those stints in this season?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Rod said it, and even us older guys have said it too. We're young. We need experience. That's the number one thing we need, is people on the field in the trenches when it matters. And those early losses have helped our success now and are going to help our success this postseason.
Andy, along with it, Kat and I talked earlier this week about Auburn. A team like Auburn started the season top 25. They had all these aspirations for possibly hosting at the end of the year. Their season started rough, and just the dominoes fell past that, and now they're a bottom dweller in the SEC. For you guys, you've seen now 2 stints this season where things didn't go your way, but instead of feeding into listening to the national media, instead of listening to those like, all right, well, this is how it's supposed to go, you found a way not just to crawl back, but do it emphatically to be one of the top teams in the Big 12. How does that happen? How does this team not fold?
That's a good question. That's what athletes do. That's what winners do. You can make excuses and dwell on being crappy, or you can actually strap on your boots and go win. And that's what winners do, is they go out in the field when the game is on the line and they win. And that's what our team is full of. We have literally 25 to 30, however many people are on our roster for travel days, 28 people who are going to go out and win. And that's what you want. You want people like that. You don't want people who are going to dwell on, we went 1-5. No one cares. Nobody in the country cares. And that's what we're focusing on right now. One game at a time. We're going to go up to Stillwater and hopefully beat the crap out of them. That's our goal.
Andy, along with it, you get the TCU series, Texas series you talked about. You walk into West Virginia, get the home win. Go to Kansas, get the win in Lawrence. Folks are still saying, all right, they're preseason 8th in the Big 12. Sure, they got a couple of series wins. There's just no way they even put up a fight against Texas Tech. Well, not just a fight. It's an 8-run victory, then a 10-run victory in 2 of those games in that series. What happened at Tech? Was that a turning point, a defining point for this team?
Definitely a defining point. I wouldn't say a turning point at all. That's what we've been doing to a lot of different teams. We scored a ton of runs at Rio Grande Valley. We scored a ton of runs versus Auburn. We scored a ton of runs versus Xavier and Memphis. That's what we do. That's what our offense, it's very, very high octane. When we score, we don't score 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. We're going to score 10, 12, 15 runs. And that just shows if people take us, they sleep on us, good. Let them sleep. Keep sleeping, and we'll just dance our way into the postseason.
Andy, then moving into Kansas State, and really these last couple series for you through Big 12 play, the bats have caught fire. I know we juxtapose. Coach Steve Rodriguez comes from California. He's that Pepperdine guy, and that's all small ball. That's the bunts, the squeezes, hey, if we score 3 or 4 runs, you guys are only scoring 2, we're going to win. But this season, the opponent can score 7, and it's fine because you guys are putting up 12. I mean, this is an offense that I don't know if I've seen in a decade or more at Baylor. What makes this offense so good?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, we're stacked on both sides of the plate, which is a good start. When we face a righty, we'll have 7 lefties in the lineup because we have 2 switch hitters. But when we face a we face a righty, we have 7 lefties. And if we face a lefty, we got 5 or 6 righties in the lineup. So I think we're really, really balanced. We got guys who get on base a lot, and then we got guys in the middle of our order who drive the ball home. And then the guys at the bottom of the order get it back to the top. It's really, really important for 7, 8, 9 to be high on base guys. And that's what we have this year. 7, 8, 9 gets it to the back to the top of the order, and then it just rolls again. It's pretty impressive, and it's really fun to be a part of. But I'm just really excited for Oklahoma State.
Andy, looking at the Kansas State series, there's so many high points. 17 runs on Friday, 23 runs on Sunday, and a 7-inning mercy rule with that 17-run inning. But your weekend as a whole, being a national player of the week and senior class award finalist, I mean, is it too early in this season to start accruing those accolades and really letting those get to you?
Yeah, absolutely. During the season, you don't let any of that get to you. You focus on one game at a time, one pitch at a time. And, it'd be nice to have Big 12 Player of the Week, but it's just an award. That's all it is. What matters to me is the 2 out of 3 wins we got. What matters to me when we go to Stillwater's is 3 out of 3 wins. That's what's important. What's important is the Big 12 record. What's important is getting into a postseason, winning in the postseason, and getting our team to Omaha. That's our only goal. That's the only thing that matters to any of us right now. Accolades will come. All that stuff will come. That's fine. That doesn't mean anything.
Andy, for you, getting to see some of the greatest catchers in collegiate baseball over the last couple of years come through this program at Baylor, and now stepping into those shoes, leading the team in home runs and RBI. I mean, you're third in the conference, third in the Big 12 with 53 RBI. It's a nuts number right now. And this past weekend going 8 for 11. What do you attribute that success to, especially as of late?
Yeah, it's just experience. It really is. It's the strength and conditioning we've done. It's the experience. It's the knowledge of, hey, just because you're hitting 400, just because you're hitting 350, something like that, it doesn't mean people aren't going to pitch to you. No one's ever that scared. No one's ever that intimidated until the end of the weekend. You go, oh crap, that guy was 10 for 12. That guy was 15, had 15 hits in 4 games. It's like, so I think understanding that, when you're young, in a program, you think, oh, I had 8 hits last week and these people aren't going to pitch to me. And that's just not true. You have to be ready and expect the other team to think you're nothing, and have that mentality of like, I'm really not that good. I'm really not that good. I'm not that bad. I'm right in the middle somewhere, and just be ready to play exactly what you've approached for. If we're approaching that the guy's going to throw slider down a lot, we need to set that approach. We need to not think, oh no, he's going to throw fastball here. No, if he shows you his hand, that's what we're going to get. And I think I can attribute a lot of my success to that right now is our game plan, experience, and being ready to hit.
Andy, you got guys in front of you like Trey Richardson, Jared McKenzie, Jack Pineda. When you've got those 3 names that are batting before you in the lineup, how much more confidence does that give you stepping into the plate, knowing most of the time you're going to have somebody on base?
Yeah, all 3 of those guys are huge on base guys, and all 3 so different. Jared's probably got the most pop out of the 3 just because of the home runs. He can hit the other way, and he turns on balls pretty well too. But, Jack's an on-base machine. He's probably one of the headziest baseball players I've ever played with. And Trey is so talented. Some of the fastest hands on our team. It's really hard to get a ball inside by him. So it's nice. You got guys who are on base. It's easy to make RBIs. You know what I mean? When guys are not on base, you got to do it yourself. So when guys are on base, it's, base knock here, base knock there, gets you 2 RBIs. Let's go. And it's really nice to have those high on base guys in front of you.
Andy, I want to take you back to this past Sunday because it was something that I got to watch on ESPN Plus covering the softball game. 53 minutes go by, and 50 minutes go by, and there are 0 outs and 17 runs on the board and still a guy on base. What was that like? Is that one of the more surreal baseball moments you've been a part of, putting up 17 runs without any outs in an inning?
Yeah, I would say it takes the cake. That's number one. I've never experienced anything quite like that. I mean, we scored 11 on Texas State 2 years ago, and that felt like forever, and then you get this and it's like, wait, we just scored 16 without an out being recorded. What's happening? And then, the camaraderie in the dugout and the competition sets in. It's like, well, who's going to be the first one to get out? It's not going to be me, it's not going to be the next guy. So that's what's fun. It's it sucks for Kansas State. They gave up that many runs in an inning, but the game before they put up 7 on us in the 9th inning. So you got to have that fire and that fuel to say, nah, we're going to keep pushing and scoring as many runs as possible. This is competition. This is war. So
Andy, now that you've knocked off Texas Tech, Kansas State won 4 straight Big 12 series, folks know. I mean, the message is out there. Baylor baseball is hot right now. They're scrappy, and they're competing for a top spot in the Big 12. Going into Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, I should say, obviously they are minded and they want to end that. They want to end that run, that scrappy little run that Baylor's put together. Does it feel like there's any target on your back, being that team that's really hot right now in Big 12 play?
Yeah, absolutely. For 2 reasons. Like you said, we're hot and that target is on our back, and that's fine. Leave it there. Make the target as big as possible. So when we get to the regional, when we get to postseason, we've seen that target before and we know how to play with it. But 2, the other thing is Oklahoma State's that bubble team right now. We got to go in there and make sure they don't make a postseason. That's our goal. Our goal is to go in there and beat the crap out of them all 3 games. If we go in there and hand them 3 losses, they may not make postseason. You know, that's not a nice thing to say. It's not fun. It's not cool. That's our goal. Our goal is to make sure other people look worse than we do so we can get a top seed.
Along with it, you got Oklahoma right after that. And looking back earlier this season, 9-3, the final score in Round Rock, you guys fell to that same Oklahoma team. What's going to be different this time?
I think what's different is both teams are maybe opposite of how they played that day. I think Oklahoma's struggling a little bit lately. Their pitching hasn't been great. Their hitting is what's dangerous. Their hitting is what's scary about that team, is they can put up mass amounts of runs really quickly. With us, I don't think our pitching was as strong then as it is now, and I don't think our hitting was as good as it is now. So I think we match up really well with these final 2 series. I think we can get 5, if not 6 wins from both those series.
Andy, what does this team need to do down the stretch, looking at those 2 series along with the Big 12 championship tournament in Oklahoma City? What does this team need to do to bolster its postseason resume right now?
I think we have a pretty good resume as of right now. Obviously, if we got 6 out of 8 Big 12, series wins, that would be huge. If we can take 2 out of 3 from the next 2 series and show decent in the Big 12 tournament, we're a lock for the postseason. But like I said, it's just a game at a time. We can look at the tournament. We can look at the Big 12 tournament and NCAA tournament, but we don't need to yet. We don't need to look at that yet. As long as we take care of our business in Stillwater, we come home, we take care of our business at home versus Oklahoma. That's what's important. One game at a time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves type mentality. And I think that having a bunch of the old guys on the team, letting the young guys know, look, we're not there yet. There's no reason to think about a regional yet. Our mind right now is beating OSU as badly as we can embarrass them.
Andy, as business as this is for you guys, trying to win these games down the stretch, make the postseason as high of a seed as possible, are you guys having fun?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, if you would have been in the dugout with that 17-run inning, I would not have to answer this question. But yes, we're having a blast. And it's fun too. One guy will go 3 for 5. Somebody will go 2 for 3, and it's, hey, I got 3 today. You only got 2. What are you going to do tomorrow? Type mentality. All the guys in the dugout are like fighting and clawing for more hits, more runs, more RBIs. It's like a selfish mentality that turns into a completely selfless mentality when it helps the team.
Andy,
so, a lot of fun.
I love it. You guys are having fun. Business as usual. You're winning. That makes my job easier. So, if you don't mind continuing to do that, that'd be great.
Yeah. No, we'll do it just for you.
Thank you. At least that. Thank you. Andy, our Bear Games question today, 17-run inning on Sunday. So our Bear Games question Monday was, what is the worst loss that you've been on the side of that? Tuesday's question is, what is the biggest win that you've been on that side of, the biggest blowout win you've gotten? Today's, what is the best individual performance you've ever experienced in sports?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest loss, I'll answer Mondays real quick. Mondays was, in my opinion, was when we lost to West Virginia in the Big 12 tournament my freshman year. I think they beat us, I'm not kidding, I think they scored 15 runs in 2 innings, and then we got out of there in 7. So that was the biggest loss. Biggest win might have been that Kansas State win we just had right there, just because of the 17-run inning. And the third question was, what was my best personal performance?
Individual, yep.
Best individual performance I had was when we played Cal Poly on Sunday 2 years ago. I went 5 for 5 with 4 doubles. And that was cool. It was 4 doubles in a game. It was awesome.
Locked in.
Especially as a DH, you get to only worry about hitting. So that was pretty cool.
Boom. Hey, Andy, thanks so much for joining the show today. Always a pleasure to get your perspective for the second time this year. Let's do this again after a series sweep against Oklahoma State. What do you say?
That sounds perfect. All right.
See you, Andy. Thanks again. That's Andy Thomas of Baylor Baseball, the starting catcher, star catcher, first team All Big 12 kind of guy. third in the league right now in RBI, first on the team in home runs and RBI. Andy Thomas, a stud. And as hot as they come right now, 8 for 11 this past weekend with 3 home runs as well. When we come back, Jeremy Heffner joins the show. Heffner, the retaining. He's not new. He is and staying the Baylor women's basketball strength and conditioning coach. He joins the show up next to talk about his decision to stay in Waco with Nicki Collen, his confidence in Nicki Collen, and his confidence in the team moving forward. I'm Drake Toll, Jack McKenzie, Marquise Cooley. This, don't go anywhere, is Up Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nicki Collen has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Collen, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Collen, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 first team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned first-team all-conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 first team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home first-team all-conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished 3rd in Heisman voting in 2007 and is 2nd in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive at 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's a name and a memory that called us back. It's a belief and a labor that will carry us forward. It's a time and experience that will make you return. The new Bear Ridge Golf Club, a space revitalized, a course restored, a new experience. For a tee time today, call the Pro Shop at 254-848-7800. Go to BearRidgeWaco.com, just south of Waco on Highway 84. Come join us at Bear Ridge Golf Club.
Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
No capes. Do you remember Thunderhead? Tall, storm powers. Nice man. Good with kids.
Listen. Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Dyna guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No kicks.
Here's Drake Toll and Armstrong Sims.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. Happy Wednesday, everybody. May 12th, and a lot going on this week across Baylor athletics. Got baseball this weekend. Got softball this weekend. Men's tennis is in Orlando. The track team in the Big 12 Championships in Manhattan, Kansas. And other big news, major news that broke yesterday. Coach Jeremy Heffner, who is the Director of Athletics Performance for Baylor women's basketball, is staying home, staying in Waco with Coach Nikki Collin. He's retained on the staff here at Baylor, and he joins our show today. Coach Heffner, thanks so much for coming on with us.
Drake, thanks for having me. Nobody's more excited to be here than I am.
I love it. You know, Coach Heffner, like we were just saying off the air, Jerry Hill told us on the show today that when he texted you about staying in Waco, that you responded in all caps, that you're just as excited as could be to be at Baylor University moving forward. Talk us through that for you.
Well, the last couple of weeks have been, we've kind of just been holding our breath, my wife and my daughter and I, and we love Waco. We love this community. We love Baylor University. We love the program. We love the student athletes that I get to work with. They're like big sisters to my daughter. And just the opportunity to stay and to be a part of something that's going to be great here in the future. It's what every coach dreams of. So I'm kind of walking on air right now.
Coach, along with that, obviously the amount of turnover, you just don't know. The volatility in a coaching change, you talked about it, just kind of holding your breath there for a while. Your first conversation with Coach Collin and kind of the process of staying at Baylor, take us through what some of that looked like.
Well, our first conversation was very brief. It was shortly after the team meeting we had. I believe it was last Tuesday, but to be honest, my days are all mixed up, so I don't know what day it is right now. We had a brief conversation. I got to listen to her speak to the team. Obviously, I saw her press conference. So I felt really good about, if given an opportunity, I felt really good about staying. Then we had the opportunity to go to breakfast last Saturday morning. And, when I left that conversation, I felt good. I felt good, not necessarily about myself, but about the direction of the program, about the person that was going to be leading our student athletes into the future, that was going to be representing Baylor. So although I didn't know where I stood, I knew where the program stood, and I knew it was going to be in good hands. So I felt really good walking out of that breakfast.
Coach, not just that side of things when it comes to university and the staff side, but the family side. I mean, when you're looking at your daughter, your wife, and deciding, hey, where do we go from here? What did those conversations look like, and was there no question you wanted to stay in Waco from the jump?
Yeah, there really wasn't. We were going to stay in Waco. We were going to figure out a way to make it work. This is our home. This is our community. Everything from, like I said, Baylor University to the farmers market. Like we're all in on Waco, to Harvest on 25th, to Olive Branch, like our local spots that we go to Pinewood. Roasters. We're all in on Waco. We love the community. We love the people. We love what it represents. So we intended to stay. We weren't sure how we were going to do that. We were kind of praying for the best. No, I won't say hoping. We were praying for the best. And so my wife is a high school counselor at Lorena High School. My daughter goes to Waco Montessori. here in downtown Waco. So we were all in on staying in Waco. My family's actually 45 minutes from here in a little town off some dirt roads called Woodbury, Texas. So even the grandparents are here. So we were committed to Waco.
Waco through and through. Coach, you talk about committed to Waco and being committed to those players that have become big sisters for your daughter. I saw a bunch, just a myriad of social media posts when it was announced that you would stay on staff at Baylor from current players just expressing how excited that made them. What are some of those messages that you've gotten from either current or former players since you decided that Waco was going to remain home for you?
Well, you have some athletes that you're really close with, especially in the business that I'm in. They love what I do. They love the weight room. They love training. They love getting better. You got some of those dogs that are just all in, and they express some gratitude, some excitement that we're going to get to stick together. Some former players that reached out. Brittany Griner hit me up almost immediately, and we've been friends. My wife and her are friends. She was on the academic side when Brittany was here for a long time, and she just talked about the excitement of getting to stay, and she's excited to, possibly come back around campus. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it makes you feel good. That's all I'll say about that. It's nice to know that the people that you pour into care about you and are excited to have you back. So.
Coach, along with it, one of the things that Jerry Hill brought up and that we brought up is Coach Colin got on the podium for an introductory press conference, and one of the first things she did was thank Coach Mulkey for what she built at Baylor University. Your message and your experience with Coach Mulkey and just your well wishes for her moving forward, what do those look like?
Well, I mean, gratitude, that's kind of my deal. Attitude of gratitude. Well, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you had it not been for Coach Mulkey. One, bringing me to Baylor University, bring me back home to Texas, bring me back a second time because I left during my 11-year tenure, and she brought me back again. Experiencing the success, watching a Hall of Fame coach for 11 years. If you can't get better doing that, you're not paying attention. So first and foremost, it's gratitude. And then I just wish her the best of luck. I mean, there are no hard feelings. Kim is a friend of mine. She's a mentor. And she's a friend of my family's, my daughter's and my wife's. And she's going to go do what Kim does at LSU. And I wish her nothing but the best of luck.
Coach Heffner, now moving into the Nikki Collin era of Baylor women's basketball. You talked about that, some of the first conversations that you've had with her and really knowing the program would be in good hands. What is it about Nikki Collin that shows you, hey, Baylor women's basketball is not going to stop. This program's on a trajectory that's only going forward?
I mean, she's coming from where everybody wants to be. She knows she has the golden ticket to get to the WNBA. She's talking about running a pro style offense, getting up and down the court. I mean, that excites, we're talking about highlight reel stuff, which we're familiar with here at Baylor women's basketball. But, from a X's and O's perspective, I think our athletes are just going to be all in on it. They're going to be excited about it. The fans are going to get excited about it. But the big thing is her emphasis are these student athletes. And that's exciting because I'm in the business of serving, and we're here to advocate for the student athletes. And when you've got your head coach and your staff, and your support staff all moving in the direction of advocating for student athletes and giving them the best experience that they can have here, man, you get fired up. And it's easy for me to get fired up. So that's not that big of a deal. But when you got everybody on the same page and you got the leader taking you in the direction that you want to go, like it's exciting.
Coach, along with it, I've seen a lot of opening press conferences over the years with coaches, and you can always tell the ones that are up there, and it's like, all right, we got a car salesman. I mean, it's the spunk and the pizzazz that's just over the top. Nikki Collin got on the podium and told it like it was. She was straightforward. And I know you've had some private conversations with her and been able to speak with her. I mean, is she just as genuine in conversation as she was at that podium last Wednesday?
So the answer in short is yes. I mean, she's just real. I went to breakfast with her. That was our first official meeting. We ate breakfast at Cafe Cappuccino, and 2 hours and 15 minutes later, we're looking at our phones like, oh my goodness, we got to go. We had conversations. We talked about basketball. We talked about the program. We talked about Waco. We talked about our children, our spouses. I mean, like, it was just real. That's the best word I can use. It's not a great adjective, but it was just real. It was exciting. I mean, it's it was fun. It was enjoyable. But yeah, man, I think from what I've seen, what you see is what you get. What you hear is what you get. And, that's exciting because you always know where you stand.
Coach, for you as well, the relationship you built with these players. We've heard from Nalissa Smith and Queen Egbo and Caitlin Bickle. I mean, those are athletes that obviously you want to still coach, that have committed themselves to Baylor even still. How big is it that those players are remaining in place to be a part of this program with not just yourself, but Coach Colin and be a Lady Bear moving forward?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, the student athletes are the foundation of the program. And when you have an All-American potential first round draft, number one, first round draft pick coming back, when you have a future All-American in Queen, it's exciting because we've got a new staff coming in, we've got a new coach, a new direction, but we have the same talent. I don't think the expectations are going to drop for even a split second. We're ready to rock and roll and we're ready to compete, and we want to win a Big 12 championship. So it's exciting, man. And you just, it's a business that we're in, but it's great when things work out and you get to keep a lot of people intact, and you get to keep the family portion of the business intact.
Coach, you talk about keeping things intact, keeping the roster intact, the players, and continuity moving forward, and it's keeping that national championship mentality intact. Is that going to be a goal for yourself and this staff, these players moving forward into next year, to keep those national championship aspirations near the forefront of your goals?
I will have to defer to Coach Colin on that. It's her program, and she will set the tone and set the goals. But in our conversation, because we haven't established goals, she hasn't told me what our goals are. So I have to defer to her. But absolutely, I don't think there's any question with the talent we have. That's going to be our expectation.
I love it. Coach, along with that, we've heard so much about how your role, being as the Director of Athletics Performance, or comparable to Strength and Conditioning Coordinator with the team, that really there are a few coaches that get a closer relationship or spend more time with the team. Is that a fair assessment in what you do?
Absolutely. Myself and our athletic trainer, Alex Olson, who's phenomenal. We spend, we're with the girls 10 and a half months a year every day. So there's no question. They get tired of us generally in the season before they get tired of the coaches, but then we're with them so much, they get untired of us before the end of the season, So it's a wonderful relationship. And I'm just, my profession is, it's a dream. I wear shorts and a t-shirt to work. I work with the elite of elite athletes, and I get to be there to support them. So often I get to be the good guy more so than the bad guy.
Coach, for those that may not be familiar with you or what you've done here at Baylor, what is your philosophy when it comes to building relationships with players and making athletes into the best they can be physically as well?
Well, my philosophy is love my athletes, be present, and lead by example. Those are just that's just kind of my filter for everything that I do. When I have an opportunity for an athlete to be in the athlete's presence, I maximize it. I listen, I learn. And then from a training standpoint, I'm around tremendous coaches, and these are tremendous athletes. So my goal is to make them resilient and durable. When they walk on the court, I want smiles on their faces and fresh legs. And so I don't do anything to take away from that, because ultimately their performance on the court dictates our success. And I don't have a magic wand. So everything we do, we're consistent, and we build consistency into the program, and that allows us to be intense when necessary. So yeah, man, we try to keep it really simple. We try to do only enough to make them better and no more. Keep the ego out of it, because there's no value in that in this profession. And just make sure that they're healthy, happy, resilient, and durable, so that coaches can coach them. That's what they do best.
Coach, a lot of folks out there, fans, media, everybody alike, when they hear Director of Athletics Performance or Strength and Conditioning, they think about like the jacked up, juiced up guy that's running out there and getting everybody fired up. When you think about the energy and bringing energy to a program, what's your philosophy there? Are you the hype guy? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Am
I the hype guy? It depends. I'm the thermostat. So when an athlete needs a hug, I give them a hug. When an athlete needs a foot in the rear end, I give them a foot in the rear end. That first thing in my philosophy is love my athletes. Well, love is not all mushy. Sometimes it's discipline. I get fired up. Yes, I get excited. If I didn't get excited, I wouldn't be doing this for a living. So the first 20, 30 minutes of practice, you probably want me to shut up. I usually calm down when the coaches start talking so everybody can hear them. But up to that point, I can be fairly annoying. Yes.
Coach, on top of that, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, I mean, your own personal accolades that have come in these last couple of weeks, the awards that you've been given. So walk me through it. It's a master. Can you help me through this?
So I'm a member of a collegiate strength conditioning organization, and it's got one of the highest entry levels for certification. So you have to do 500 or 600 hours of an internship with a master strength coach. You have to take a 3-pronged certification test. You know, you have your academic side, you have your practical side. And so it's a really stringent test. And then once you've done that and you've been certified, you have to maintain a job for a long period of time in order to be considered a master strength coach. And in this industry that's so volatile, it's kind of hard to do. Coaches lose their jobs all the time. So it's an honor to be presented the master jacket by your peers. The guys that indoctrinated me into this profession, they were there. You're talking about Jeff Mad Dog Madden, who's been a strength coach for 40 years, who was originally at the University of Texas. My Charlie Melton, who I work with, received his jacket 4 or 5 years ago, and he's the one who actually presented the jacket to me. So you're just getting recognized by your peers for being consistent, being a quality coach, and representing an organization that we believe in.
Coach, on top of that, what did that honor mean to you, and how do you bring that to your program every day?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, these are guys that I stood in front of and tested in front of 18 years ago. You know, I took the test and they critiqued me and they coached me and they ragged on me, you know, and you just kind of, iron sharpens iron. They're the people that made me the coach that I am today and gave me the opportunity, frankly, to even be a coach. So it's just an honor, but how do I bring it to me every day? It's a part of who I am. I'm a master strength coach, whether I'm on the floor or whether I'm sitting in your living room talking to you. Like you can't separate the two. When you're in this profession, any coaching profession, it becomes who you are. It's a part of you. So I carry it everywhere I go.
Coach, one of the last couple questions I have for you here, and I do want to thank you for what you've brought to the show today, your perspective from a faith aspect, being at Baylor University and as a coach. How does that play into how you work, how you do your job every day and what you bring to this program?
You know, I'm here by grace and grace alone. It was given to me freely. And it's my expectation that I give that to everyone that I meet. So when I come to work every day, you get my respect automatically. You don't have to earn it. You get my love automatically. You don't have to earn it because it was given to me first. So I think being in this setting just allows me to foster that, and that in turn allows me to grow as a person. So yeah, I believe that's my answer.
Coach, working our way all the way back to where we started with Coach Nikki Collin, your ability to stay in Waco, be a part of this staff, you two working together with the staff she builds and these players as well. Can you sum everything up, the emotions of even the last 48 hours in the announcement that you would still remain at Baylor University and all that's gone into this? Can you wrap it all up with a bow?
Let's go. SicEm Bears. I am fired up, dude. I can't wait to work for Coach. I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to get the girls back. Let's do this thing.
I love it. That's it. That's probably the best. That's the best bow that we've gotten on Up Tempo in a while. Coach, we got our Bear Games question of the day for you today. So we ask this on the tail end of every interview that we do, whether it be with phone calls, whether it be with callers or guests alike. You know, Baylor baseball put up 17 runs on Sunday. So Monday's Bear Games question was, what is the worst loss, the worst defeat you've been on the other side of? The Tuesday's question, the biggest win, where you've been on the right side of that blowout. Today's, your best individual performance ever as an athlete. Tell me, like, maybe, I don't know, it could have been youth football. Just, you got to hit me with something here.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. So but if you know me, I'm self-deprecating. So I was playing in Arlington, Texas, in a baseball game in center field. and I caught a ball on the fly, and there was a play at the plate, and I airmailed the ball into the stands behind us and hit Ben Greaves' mom in the leg.
No. How
Yes,
did you airmail it behind you?
Ben Greaves played in Major League Baseball. His dad was Tom Greaves, general manager for the Texas Rangers. So let's just say everybody knew who she was. Yeah, man, I don't know. I crow hopped and I let her fly and thought I was going to get him. And I mean, had it been 20 feet lower, I probably would have got him out at the plate. But instead, it went over the backstop and hit a lovely young woman in the leg. Watching another baseball game.
It's a subtle flex, though. The fact that you could throw a ball that far, right? Like that's the point of the story.
I had a hose. I just didn't know where it was going. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. A hose without a scope. But Coach Heffner, thanks so much for joining the show today, giving us perspective. Like I said, on behalf of all of us, congratulations, and we're so happy to have you staying in Waco.
Thank you, Drake. It's an honor to be here, and I'm grateful to be back.
Absolutely. Again, that's Coach Jeremy Heffner, assistant women's basketball coach at Baylor University, director of athletics performance, and he is staying in Waco. Coach Nicki Collen, the first major recruiting get, is keeping Heffner on board. He's been a part of the staff for a decade, had a small stint where he took a break there in the middle of it, but came back with Kim Mulkey and company, said he wishes her nothing but the best. He's grateful for the opportunities that Coach Mulkey gave him, and he is excited to be alongside Coach Nicki Collen, who has extended the opportunity for him and his family to stay in Waco, and he has accepted it, and he said it, let's go. That he's excited. I'm excited. The first major recruiting get for Nicki Collen is Coach Heff. That's Jeremy Heffner staying here in Waco with the Lady Bears. I love it. That's awesome. And a pleasure to have him on today, giving us a perspective. He said she's as genuine in a conversation as she was at the podium, and that he's excited to get this thing ready to rock and roll for next season. Jeremy Heffner, a Lady Bear last year, a Lady Bear 10 years ago, and a Lady Bear next season. That was awesome. That's huge. That's huge. And Brittany Griner, too, give him a thank you after he was hired as well. I'm Drake Toll. That's Jack McKenzie. We got Marquise Cooley in here with us as well. We want to remind you this hour of SicEm365 Radio, SicEm365's Up-Tempo, is brought to you by Banson Business Services, BANCIN. Owned by Baylor grad and SicEm365 premium member Jonathan Green, Banson Business Services offers a full suite of business support and financial services. Banson specializes in bookkeeping, payroll, outsourced CFO services, and consulting. They can even help you with your taxes. Their business helps you run your business. Visit SicEm365.com/Banson, BANCIN, for more information. Again, Drake Toll, Jack McKenzie, Marquise Cooley. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, it's a Blonde Boys Power Hour. This is Up-Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nicki Collen has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Collen, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master's Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Collen, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 First Team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned First Team All-Conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 First Team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home First Team All-Conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished 3rd in Heisman voting in 2007 and is 2nd in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up-Tempo.
The Jeep Celebration event at Allen Samuels has special pricing on the new 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude with total values up to $5,250 or 0% for 84 months. Or a special deal on a new 2021 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid Limited with total values of $7,000 or 0% for 72 months. It's the Jeep Celebration event at Allen Samuels, the best place to find your new vehicle. Located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
I got breaking news here. We got Western Athletic Conference just announced they're adding several schools.
The WAC.
The WAC.
Okay. Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
I think Coach Gundy would be like my guy that I would just like just a hair. Yeah. I just want to be able to see it flow when I kind of slam his arm down.
Here's Drake Toll.
And welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den for the Blonde Boys Power Hour. Drake Toll alongside J.D. PicKell today on Up Tempo. Welcome back in. How was walking the old dog today outside in the outdoors?
Good. We had to put another one down, though. Another dog going down, yeah.
We have lost like 5 dogs.
I know. I am upset about it just the same as you. But, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, you go through dogs like you go through eggs. Just at some point, they go down or they get cracked, you know? They go bad or they get cracked.
I don't know if that makes any remote sense.
Yeah, I am a bit concerned now.
Yeah, I'm concerned too. My dog guy has given me some rotten dogs the last few times.
Really?
They give out after every few weeks.
They just die.
It's not. It's not user error. That's for sure.
I will tell you. I
walk them every day.
I will tell you. I've gotten this habit. Did I tell you about the imitation crab meat that I've been eating?
No.
Yeah, so I've started. No, not sushi. Just imitation crab meat. Also, 254-339-1122. We're about to get into a heated debate about something.
Mm-hmm.
I've been eating imitation crab meat with melted butter.
Really?
Yeah.
Where
Like
do you
it
get
makes
it
you HEB. Yep. Spend like $3 a pack. There's like 15 strips of imitation crab meat. I eat probably 7 of them per meal.
Really?
Spectacularally good.
Really?
Anything with melted butter just tastes automatically better than it would without melted butter.
So if it's imitation crab, what is it actually?
It's like some random fish that lives in the sea that they kill and they take the meat, but the meat of the fish tastes just like crab when you process it.
I think that's in a lot of different sushis that you'll find at grocery stores.
I think it is too.
Okay.
I think it is too.
But you recommend it?
I recommend it. I wholly recommend it. Like if your meal should consist of imitation crab, hot melted butter, and spinach dip and wheat thins.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Either a LaCroix or a Topo Chico. No Coke.
You got your carbs, no Coke.
No Coke.
You got your carbs, you got your protein. I mean, if it's fish, it's got to be pretty good for you.
It's seafood, yeah. That said, it is imitation crab. It's not real crab.
Okay.
So one can only assume how processed is this thing to make it taste like real crab.
Huh. Well, I mean, if it's fish, though, I'm thinking that's good. The law that I heard from a strength coach was 4 legs, 2 legs, no legs, in order of least healthy to most healthy. So you got your beef, your 4 legs, your pigs, your cows.
2 legs ostriches.
2 legs ostriches. That's important. You got to have the ostrich. That's a little more healthy, a little leaner. Humans, very high source of protein.
Human beef.
Most healthy, no legs. Fish. Very lean.
What would be 2 legs? Like wallabies?
Chicken.
Or chicken.
Chicken.
Okay.
Poultry.
I really do hate the fact that I completely just right over my head.
No, you're
what
good.
has 2 legs.
You're good.
No legs fish.
No legs fish. No jellyfish. See, I don't know where you get. See, jellyfish, do they have a lot of legs or there's tentacles? Like, I don't know where we get into that. Is jellyfish the least healthy? I don't know.
Tentacles,
people smarter than me answer those
questions. Like the Bible has 2 tentacles. There's the new tentacles and the no. Okay. I think I was confused.
No, I'm not going to go there, actually. I was going to go a whole other direction that might get us in trouble.
Really?
Yeah.
You know how many things we've said on this show that could get us in trouble?
Yeah, actually, it would have happened by now. But
yeah, it definitely would have happened by now.
I think either of those directions could have gotten you guys in trouble.
Yeah. Hey, we're still here, though, aren't we?
Yeah, they haven't kicked us off yet.
Thank God.
You and I haven't talked in a while. How was your night last night? What'd you do?
It was good. Last night, went to my house and made some tacos.
Golly, no, you didn't. I'll be darned. You went to your house?
Went to my house and then hung out with the roommates, watching Walking Dead.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Walking in Waco.
Pretty solid. Walking in Waco. The Dead Walking in Waco.
I've been watching The Last Man on Earth with Will Forte. It's not good. It's not very good at all. Like,
really?
I'm forcing I can't. Once you start something, you got to finish it. But I can't.
The plot's pretty good. I like that the plot is slow, but it kind of picks up, doesn't it? A little
bit, but it's very inconsistent. It's just one episode will be spectacular. Like, that was really good TV. I would laugh till I snort. But then the nenext episode, you're like, this was pointless.
So you got to go through the valleys to get to the peaks. One of those deals.
Hills and valleys.
Which one? What's that by?
Shoot, he came to Waco to the gospel church.
Nelly?
Yep. No.
Nelly came to Waco last week at the backyard.
Nelly did?
Nelly did. I think he sold out pretty quick, actually.
On Torrin Wells. On purpose? Like came on purpose. It wasn't just like a random oh, hey, Nelly's here.
No, that was a big deal.
Where was I for that?
I don't know.
Why didn't we go see Nelly together?
I was out of town, but it sounded cool.
Fish Maybe you're taking finals.
It was graduation.
Kitchen. Beans don't burn on the grill. Well, finals last week. Did I take finals last week?
Finals and graduation
last week.
Wow, I'm out of school. I'm done with school. For those that are wondering, breaking news.
We out you.
So today, also in news today, before we get into this discussion about Baylor football and the transfer portal, because that's what we're talking about. Baylor baseball, Andy Thomas named the Bobby Bragan Player of the Week.
Holla.
Second time in this 5th-year senior, Andy Thomas has earned the honor. That is given to the Bobby Bragan Collegiate Slugger Award.
Is that nationally?
Yep. The best player, it's best slugger. And Thomas returns for consideration for the second time this season on the strength of a 727 batting average and 800 on-base percentage and a 1.636 slugging percentage slash line in 3 games against Kansas State.
That'll do. 3 homers? Was it 3 or 4?
Yep,
3
homers.
1 yard 3 times.
9 RBI, 8 for 11 over the weekend.
He's a baller.
Yeah, he's batting .350 right now, 408 on-base percentage, 595 slugging to go along with career-high 10 home runs, 53 RBI. That's stupid.
He's a pretty big boy, too, isn't he? He's a unit.
Yeah, he was on the show today, actually.
He's a pretty big boy, yeah.
Yeah, he is. He got a new haircut today, too. Everybody's getting haircuts. Everybody's getting haircuts.
Getting haircuts and fly balls is what Andy Thomas does.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what he said. He has it tattooed on his back.
Haircuts and fly balls?
Yeah.
Hit fly balls?
No, fly balls.
Just fly balls.
Just fly balls. Whether he's hitting them or whether he's catching them, that's what he does.
It's not like fly comma balls. That'd just be weird.
Yeah, Then, or if a hyphen there, then you just have some.
Then you got problems.
Then there's semantics.
You got mental problems.
Yeah.
Fly balls. So I see Joe Frazier in there. Joe, Joe's talking about Baylor. Joe, let's hit it.
Came to the right place.
Joe, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? A couple of things real quick before I jump into the Baylor stuff. Y'all were talking
Joe said, remember the
nutrition stuff real quick?
FDR fireside chats with like the microphone and the popcorn crackle?
Still got him.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe,
one more time, bud.
The audio, you got like an FDR fireside chat thing going on. It's like a 1920s radio. The microphone's a little bit overmodulated, kind of what?
Golden.
Oh, I think we got you.
Golden.
All right. So JD was talking about the nutrition side, and I heard the same thing or very similar as far as if it walks on 2 legs or swims, it's better than 4.
Yes.
And of course, you got your birds, all that kind of stuff. So, and I live by that because I'm one of the few guys. You guys are going to ridicule the crap out of me, but I'm one of the few guys that doesn't like steak.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Like I'm a poultry guy and a fish guy through and through. But I don't mind cooking the steaks for other people, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm craving an 8-ounce sirloin.
Oh, guy, I would hope you're not craving an 8-ounce sirloin. Also. That's like 6 bites.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
But
that does
anyway,
vary by blood type.
Y'all were talking about shows real quick. Man, I'm telling you, if y'all haven't been doing it, you've got to catch up with the Mayans. It's a spinoff from the Sons of Anarchy.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, you'll be on your toes the whole time trying to figure out what's going on.
God, that hurt my toes.
Okay.
That would really hurt my toes.
Keep it up with the Mayans.
Keep it up with the Mayans. Did you keep it up with the Mayans?
I'm telling you.
Netflix?
Good question.
Hulu, I believe has it.
Okay.
I have Hulu.
But definitely, if you haven't watched the Sons of Anarchy, you may want to go watch that first.
Start there.
But that may take a while because it's like 12 to 13 seasons of Sons first, and then jump into the 3 seasons of the Mayans. But it's all worth it. I mean, I think I've watched Sons of Anarchy like 3 times over now since it's been off the air.
Wow.
But anyway, going into our Baylor talk, somebody posted a little bit deal on YouTube earlier this morning about Baylor being a Big 12 title contender. And I think we all know who posted that. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a disagreement, so to speak. I have more of a caveat, and I'm not going to call you out on it either because I agree with you for the most part. But I think I'm going to tweak it just a hair because I think it all boils down to our defense having turnovers and our defensive scoring. Because if you think that's the next step that our defense is on. Because, they were lights out last year. But to turn that page for the defense to give them more goals and more pushing them to that next level, even though they're at a very high level now, I think they've got to have more takeaways, and they've got to turn those takeaways into scoring. And then if you really want to put a little cherry on top, Treston Everden's got to be able to take a couple of them to the house on the special teams.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take all the weight off of the offense, and I think the offense will get more comfortable over time because they'll know, hey, look, we don't have to do it all one play. Bam, we don't have to do it all right here. We can take some of the weight off our shoulders.
No, I completely agree with you there. And I think if you're asking more of Treston Ebner, guy was an All-American as a return man a season ago, so I don't know you're going to get a whole lot more than you got a year ago. The defense was, they were unbelievable last year. If you just look at that defense alone, Baylor's a 10-win team just with their defense. I mean, they didn't have the 10-win offense to match it, but the defense was spectacular. The reason why I'm so optimistic is because I think the defense kept them in so many games a year ago. Like, there are 3 games they lost by a score. So you have just even a more competent offense. You're looking at 3 wins in my mind. Now, I think that they have so much skill on the offensive side of the football. I think the offensive line is going to be an issue, but if they can just get some more continuity there, if they can just look more competent at the offensive line, they're going to have a chance to do some really exciting things offensively. So if the offense can just take a step, if they can just have the next step and just have more of an identity, they're going to have a chance to be really good. Now, they need some things to probably go their way. I think that's fair, but I don't think that there's going to be as much of a gap between them and the, I guess, proverbial preseason national title winner, the Oklahoma Sooners. The gap is not that large. It was 27 points a season ago, is what Oklahoma scored. That wasn't the differential. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, though. I think that they need to find ways to capitalize when the defense does create those turnovers, because the defense outperformed. They were in position so many times last year, the offense was.
The other thing, the other caveat from the defense is giving the offense short fields.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get that, even if it's just a takeaway or we happen to whatever, and we can make a short field out of everything, I think that's going to build our offensive confidence over time. Because hey, we're only having to go 30 yards. We're only having to go 40 yards. We're not having to go 90. We're not having to go 75.
Yeah,
and I really feel like, and that'll help on special teams as well, because if special teams can give us a short field, that's that much better.
Yeah.
And then that, because I think all we're lacking on offense is that big confidence. If we can get that big C and just slap it all the way across the locker room, all over the place, and say, hey, we've got confidence in our offense like our defense has, I can't disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, even asking the offense to go 50. Yeah, I mean, even asking the offense to go 50, you gave them the ball at midfield a season ago, and you're like, well, hopefully we can get 3 points out of this.
Maybe.
Like, hopefully we're not punting. We saw them punt like the 40 last year. Yeah, I'm with you.
No, I agree with you. Well, that's the other thing, too, is our special teams has got to pick it up, because Mr. Chops, he's got to bring it home if he's gonna be popping them through the uprights. He's got to be on, because he struggled a little bit last year at key times.
Yo, a lot of it. A little bit is just nice. Oh,
yeah,
geez.
I think some of that does have to do with morale. And I don't want to necessarily give him a pass completely, but I think some of it has to do with, like, as a kicker, so much of your game is mental, I'm assuming. And so I have to imagine there was a lot of mental, not blocks, but he was probably not in a great mental headspace based on the way that team was playing.
Well, no. But look at West Virginia. He missed. The team was playing well enough to win, plenty well enough to win, and Mayers missed 2 the same key field goals.
Yeah.
At that point, do you call it coaching for making him go out there and kick them? Maybe, because there's no way he was making those. I don't know. That's tough.
They're makeable. I didn't kick on that level, but I kicked on a high school level, and I kicked on a semi-pro level. So I understand the pressure. I was that guy. I was in those pressure situations. The longest I ever had to kick was I kicked 2 40-yarders in one game.
Wow!
And I thought I was on top of the world. But I I went up for a 53-yarder, and it looked like a duck. So, I mean, I get it.
It's crazy.
It's 95% mental when it comes to kicking.
Yeah, I mean, he was 100% within 40 yards. Like, the guy's pretty good. You back it up past 40, he's
100% within 40?
Within 40 yards, he was.
No idea.
I mean, he was 7 for 7. You had 3 for.
That is the
23-yard
line, though. 40 is not long. That's a 23-yard line.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's keep making those, but you need a few plus 40, a little more consistency.
Yeah, he's making the ones that a Division I kicker should make. Mm-hmm. So at least he's doing that much. Joe, the Bear Games question of the day today. Your greatest personal victory, your greatest personal feat in a game.
Greatest personal victory. I was a kicker in high school. That's all I did. I wasn't allowed to do anything else. My coach didn't want me to get hurt because I was the only kicker we had. And I was probably 240 pounds. So I was like little Sebastian Janikowski.
There you go.
At the time. But I competed, I powerlifted. And I only missed the qualifying for regionals by 25 pounds for the 242-pound class. And I was just a kicker.
Wow.
Because 1,300 pounds was the cutoff and I was 1275. So I took that as a win for myself because all I'm doing is kicking footballs all day. I'll go run some bleachers. I'm doing a lot more cardio than I was doing weightlifting. And I go in there and I have a 500-pound deadlift, 425 or 525 squat, and then I put 250 up on the bench.
Jeez.
Wow.
So, I mean, for me, that was like a personal accomplishment in itself because powerlifting in Texas is pretty awesome in the summertime.
Lock it in.
That's another spring sport.
Biggest individual feat. Hey, Joe, thanks for your call. As always, love hearing from you and talking some football with you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys. You have a good day.
Thanks, Joe.
You too, Joe. So here's what we're going to do. On a scale of 1 to things that we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You posed a question, and we talked about this earlier. Also, the football segment, really good stuff.
Thanks, man. I
liked that. That was good. We're going to run that we're going to run that in its entirety tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
During the show, and so we'll get that out for the folks that weren't able to see that yet. Go to the YouTube page that you're already on for most of you, and check out the. Let me see. I don't want to get this wrong. So it's Big 12 football. Baylor will battle with Oklahoma. Iowa State win to take the Big 12 championship. Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. It's our own Joshua Dalton PicKell that did that. 11 minutes. Nice, good stuff. Very good stuff. Very good stuff.
A little bit long.
So no. Are they all going? They're all going to be like 10 minutes.
I'll be in that range. Maybe some may be a little bit shorter, but
make them like 30. It's good
30?
stuff. I love your college football opinions.
Appreciate it.
You played college football, so
thanks, boss.
When we come back, we're asking the question: should Baylor go into the transfer portal and find another offensive lineman going into next season? I say yes.
I say no.
He says no. Why would you say no? Well, you're going to have to stick around till the end of the rest of the after the break to find out why. I'm Drake Toll, J.D. PicKell, Marquise Cooley, and Jack McKenzie in studio today. When we come back, should Baylor go to the transfer portal for an offensive lineman? Yes.
Don't do it.
Don't go anywhere. This is Up Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nikki Cullen has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Cullen, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master's Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Cullen, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 First Team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned First Team All-Conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 First Team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home First Team All-Conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished 3rd in Heisman voting in 2007 and is 2nd in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old, and they come every 6 months, and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to the water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody, the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com. Born in Waco, Brotherwell Brewing exists to serve the Central Texas community with locally crafted beer of the highest quality. They want to bring Central Texas closer to the brewing experience so everyone can enjoy well-made beer as much as they do. For 2.5 years, they've been bringing high-quality beer to Central Texas at their location on Bridge Street in East Waco. Brotherwell Brewing believes in community and bringing people together to enjoy products made in their community. So for your game day, whether it's a tailgate or at home, stop by Brotherwell Brewing for high-quality craft beer made right here in Central Texas, 400 East Bridge Street, and check them out online at brotherwell.com.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now back to the Bears Den with Drake Toll for a Baylor take on your lunch break.
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic Low T Bears Den. I'm Drake Toll alongside J.D. PicKell, Jack McKenzie, and Marquise Cooley today. Happy Wednesday, everybody. May 12th. Talking Baylor football. You know, men's and women's basketball are still recruiting right now. Possibility of another transfer to join Nikki Collin. Still trying to find out where Bill Brock and Satia Messer are going to go, how that's going to shake out. A lot of ifs, ands, and buts. Things up in the air on that front. Baylor baseball this weekend in Stillwater for a big series. You got Baylor softball going to the Big 12 championships as well. Baylor track at the Big 12 championship meet in Manhattan, the Little Apple. What more could you ask for?
I like that, Manhattan, the Little Apple. That's kind of cool.
I
like that. I like that a lot. No, I like that. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
I didn't start that. That's not a me thing.
Let's just say you started it.
Really?
Who's going to know?
Everybody.
It's pretty well known.
Yeah.
No one's going to know.
I'm pretty sure they used to say it, have like Herb Street say it in NCAA video games.
No one's going to know.
Yeah.
No one's going to know. It'll be our secret.
Yeah, this is a me thing. I did that. Wow. Thanks,
Drake,
man.
You're so
Little
amazingly
Apple.
smart.
So,
gosh, we're so lucky to have you.
I should start nicknaming some more stuff like the Bears Den or the Blonde Boys Power Hour.
Ooh.
I should start doing that.
That might have legs.
Dude, he's on a roll right
Let's
now.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep, we call it the Bears Den.
I hope we're recording right now.
Oh, shoot. Are we live?
I'm not sure, you know.
Are our mics hot?
I'm not great back here.
Are our mics hot?
Rock and roll.
All right. Today, right now, today is one of the worst days. You know, it has been kind of dreary outside the past couple days.
It has
the
been.
sun's not going to come back out in Waco for another long day. You know, I'm only in studio for another 2 days, and I go home.
Yeah.
It's been.
You'll be remote, though, yeah.
I'm remote for a week. Going to bring one of those little microphones. That little microphone right there, actually.
There it is.
You see that right there?
Coming with.
I'm taking it with me.
Taking
it home with me.
Heck yeah.
Should Baylor go to the transfer portal and pick up another offensive lineman going into next season, a la Jake Burton from UCLA? Whatever happened to that guy?
Yeah, you think he signed with, I'd be guessing, he signed with some NFL team. Like, dude's a good lineman, and that's nothing against him. He had a lot of starts at UCLA, came to Baylor because the Pac-12 wasn't going to play football.
Right.
But, like, did See, that experiment didn't really work out.
Yeah, I don't remember really hearing much about Jake Burton.
Jake Burton, I mean, the whole offensive line, I think that's kind of the thing. That's why I personally say no to this. I think it's tough at this point with no spring ball to bring in a guy to play at a position that is ultimately very much dependent on the other 4 guys. And it's so hard to get the continuity in fall camp. You really need the spring to be able to get that cohesiveness. And I understand that maybe they don't have 5 stars across the board on the offensive line.
They don't have 2 stars across the board.
Xavier Newman was pretty good coming out of high school. I think he was under All-American. I'm going to say his name wrong. The young freshman, Makuza, he was, I think, flipped from Michigan. So they got guys that can play. But the thing is, nobody knows that because they looked abysmal a season ago because they didn't play well together.
They looked abysmal in the spring game.
Abysmal. Well, they also had Apu Ika lining up across from him, and they're putting in a new scheme.
But he didn't line up against the ones. Apu didn't line up against the ones not the whole time. He did some.
Well,
you're right.
Miller's the number 1 freshman.
You're right.
Or the number 1 center, excuse me.
Yep.
So he was playing both ways.
Great point. I absolutely, you got to get a lineman out of the portal. These guys, the line right now is the one thing that Baylor Athletics is so bad at. The one thing that Baylor is not good at right now is blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're good at tennis. Baylor's good at track, at golf, at cross country. Baylor is bad at offensive line. You gotta fix it. You need a now fix in a guy. Maybe bring a guy in that has 1 year left of eligibility. But if you can bring in a 2 or 3 year fix of experience, you need experience at a high level. Experience of a guy that's like, hey, not only have I played college football, but I have good experience of I played it well. Mm-hmm. And so few linemen currently on roster have that.
So we just described right there a guy who's played a lot of football, played it well. That effectively is Jake Burton. Like Jake Burton did that a season ago, and he'd be walking into a guy with he'd be walking into a team that would have no spring ball. So he's watching tape, trying to get up to speed, like we saw a season ago with no COVID. Spring ball is what we saw basically. So the guy's pretty much drinking from a fire hose the whole season. He never was able to really get up to speed from what I was able to see. So I think the idea of it is really attractive. It's attractive to think okay, get a guy from a Power 5 school. I don't even know who you'd be after at this point, but I think you're setting them up for failure without spring ball. Right now, I think you got to roll with what you got. It's hard to install during the fall. I mean, I can speak from experience being a graduate transfer and showing up at Baylor. My head was spinning, and I'd played a lot of college football. I was not picking up the playbook at all before I had to leave the team. It's tough to walk in because everybody's already been together for so long, and the coaches don't care.
But the playbook's much easier for an offensive lineman than it is a running back, no?
No, not really.
Not at all?
Not really.
Come on.
I've never played O-line, so I'm speaking out of turn, but there are so many checks that you're dependent on your guard or your tackle or your center. There's so much communication happens before the snap, so where it's hard to, if you're not on the same page before the snap, one guy out of the 5 is off, it's a sack.
Yeah, but
that's tough.
If I'm running 36 trap,
mm-hmm.
if I say 36 trap to an offensive lineman, mm-hmm. you should automatically know what we're doing.
Well, what's the defense? We got a nose, we got a shade.
Yeah.
We got
linebackers.
What's set? They just shifted the play changes.
Yeah, I know.
So it's 36 trap just became 24 counter Y.
Yeah, you can tell what back, what hold,
and
hit.
That changes everything.
That doesn't really tell the lineman how to block the guys in front of them.
I mean, in my experience playing on the line, it did. You say 36 trap, that I know if I'm the left tackle, I know exactly which way I'm blocking and who the next guy down I need to block is.
Defense comes out to give you
must have
different
known
look.
Your playbook
Safety's creeped up.
Safety's creeped up. Front.
Literally, I mean, yeah, it's football.
It is football,
but it's the same football at Baylor as it is at Louisiana Tech.
It's like saying school in first grade is still school your senior year of college. The courses are just very different. So the safeties, if you're going to, for example, 36 trap, all of a sudden that backer mugs, meaning he comes up and walks up on the center. So you got him sitting right where that's going to try to run 36 trap. You can no longer run 36 trap. So a good quarterback, a good center will be like, okay, check, and you get out of the play.
Okay.
So at that point, there's so much communication that goes on to where it's like, okay, 36 trap, you know how to block it, but we just switched the play 3 times before the snap, and you now have no idea what you're doing at left tackle. That's a sack, and we can't even get the play started. And that's a risk you run. I really think it's risky. I
don't think you have to be an elite lineman to be able to adjust with the numbers or adjust with the play call in comparison to a halfback
mm-hmm.
or in a position in your position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I don't think that's going to be an issue bringing a guy in. It's like, yeah, you didn't get spring ball, so if I call out a play, you're going to be lost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that really going to be a legitimate issue for a good lineman?
I think it's risky.
Last year?
I think it's risky.
Who?
Xavier Newman.
What did I say?
He looked lost, and he has been here.
He hasn't proven it. Okay, what did I say? Also, it's a new offensive coordinator last year. But what Xavier Newman has not proven to me that he's an elite lineman.
New offensive coordinator this year.
New offensive coordinator this year.
We're not going to get
offensive line coach.
Right, ye have little faith. Like, I have so much faith in Eric Mateos that if a transfer comes in, those guys will be ready. What I'm saying is, if you're a lineman that's got it, if you're an elite level lineman in the transfer portal, or even a pretty good lineman in the transfer portal, you should be ready to rock and roll in the fall. Is that too much to ask?
Yes and
maybe
no.
at Baylor.
Yes and no. I think there's a piece of it to where you can understand the X's and O's on paper and have it down pat. Like, this was a problem for me my junior season. I knew the playbook. I knew it forwards and backwards. Got on a whiteboard, know how to try it up. I know how to draw it up, know how to chalk it up. Get on the field, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's a pretty simple route concept that I'm supposed to be running. I have no idea what to do because it's very different to know it in the classroom and then to get out onto the football field and try and execute. So my concern with bringing someone in is that they wouldn't be able to have enough reps in 11-on-11 scenarios to get up to speed. I think I'd be guessing if I said how many practices you have. You have probably, I'd say, around a month to get acclimated when you get on campus, because you have like the summer 1, summer 2, so you get strong, get to know your teammates, but the communication level that it requires to be a good offensive lineman makes me nervous, and I think that the risk there is too great. Just keep the guys you got. Let's gel. Like, I would rather have a 3-star lineman than a 5-star lineman who's been here longer.
Wow. Really?
That's
I would
a bold
rather
take.
have
That's where I
have
go.
an elite lineman out of the transfer portal than somebody here that you can't trust.
What if the 5-star lineman is not even blocking the right guy? He's doing pass pro.
Why
and
do
got
you
inside
assume
zone.
that? Why do you assume that? It's the same whether it be at Baylor. Repeat that one more time.
I would rather have a 3-star lineman with less ability, who's been around for the spring, has played with this group, knows the checks, knows the calls. I can put him in the game. He might not physically dominate whoever's in front of him, but he knows what to do. He can get in the way. He can do enough to get the play started. Whereas with a 5-star, if he's blocking the wrong guy, I'm like, dude, you're Hercules, but you're blocking the exact wrong guy, and we can't even get the play started. That's where my issue falls.
It's blocking. It's being a lineman. On a scale of 1 to complicated, it's not near as bad as it could be for, say, a linebacker, a DB, a quarterback, a running back. I mean,
I don't know about running back.
What?
JD, fill us in?
There's parts that I see what you're saying.
I would say running back's much more complicated than being a lineman when it comes to knowing the playbook.
The thing is that they all go together, right? Like, I think there's parts of running back that's obviously different than the lineman, but my thing is communication. Like, I keep going back to that. Being able to pick up the checks within a half second of the snap can make all the difference in the world. And so for even a guy to be a half second behind, we're dealing with a sack. And I think we saw that with Jake Burton this year, a guy who is a very good football player, is going to make some money playing in the NFL. He's a beast. He played 20-plus games at UCLA. The guy was consistent. But the fact that he came to Baylor with no spring ball, wasn't able to get up to speed ever really fully, we saw that hurt him, and ultimately this offensive line had other problems that you can't put on Jake Burton. But I think we saw that be a more difficult learning curve than it would be if he had been here for spring ball.
We've seen Mateos in the classroom. We've seen Mateos do those videos on YouTube where he breaks down the offense, and I have full trust and faith in Eric Mateos that if you bring a transfer in, the guy's going to know how to block, and they're going to build something around him that makes you comfortable as a lineman in the offense. Because you have to have, it's not even a mind. I know we keep talking about mind game consistency, how well you get it up here. I want to go back to just physicality and pure ability as an offensive lineman, and Baylor doesn't have that on the O-line. You need someone, a new player, maybe two, with the ability to play at a Big 12 level on the offensive line, because Baylor has, we talked about it, maybe 2 guys that I trust on the O-line. Grant Miller, being a guy who just transferred in. I don't know what you're going to get from him. I've seen his film at Vanderbilt. I saw Jake Burton's film at UCLA. Who is to say that Grant Miller won't end up just like Jake Burton?
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point, I think, but Grant Miller getting spring ball is the difference. Jake Burton showed up here, and it's like, hey, I'm trying to figure out the playbook. I'm trying to play a lot of different positions right now and trying to be an asset, because he was a good football player. But the reality of it was, he was basically thrown into a scheme that he was, I'm assuming, still trying to pick up. And there were times last year where that kind of reared its ugly head, and we're like, okay, you're a great football player, but you don't know necessarily who to block. Like DeAndre Hopkins is still DeAndre Hopkins, no matter what route he's running, but it's hard when he's not running the right route with the concept. That's kind of a stretch, but you see what I'm saying. It all works so cohesively that if one guy doesn't do his job, being the guy who doesn't know exactly what he's supposed to be doing, you're in trouble as an offensive line. It makes everyone look bad.
I think you're completely right, but at the same time, to kind of side with Drake a little here, I mean, we got to figure something out. So bringing in more options, trying to find one that sticks, one that can do it, especially if they have experience in this zone type running scheme that Eric Mateos and Grimes are running, that could be good, especially if they have multiple years, because who knows how these 3-stars we have in the 2022 class are going to pan out. Like, hopefully they do, but
that's true. My exception to that would be if you got a guy from BYU. I have no idea what their transfer portal looks like. If you get a kid from BYU who can play, who knows the system, who knows what he's stepping into, day one he's ready to rock, I think that learning curve is a lot less steep than someone who, from UCLA, from Virginia Tech, someone who's going to show up and be like, okay, well, I'm glad I'm here. I can play ball, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. That's really tough.
Got a call on the line here. We got Jason in Fort Worth. Jason calling in to talk about the offensive line. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, man, you enjoying the show today? You guys look nice there, coordinated in your Baylor gear today.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
I hear both sides of the argument here. I definitely think, and I thought I heard Coach Aranda say this earlier. He was talking about we need additional offensive linemen just for a depth reason. I mean, we're only as good as our starting five. If somebody goes down, what do we do? So I don't think it can hurt, and I definitely think I think back to the Oklahoma game, and I know you mentioned this on. I heard your argument for why we're going to win the Big 12 championship next year. It's a possibility. I think back to that Oklahoma game. I think we got an interception on the 2-yard line. We're still in the ball game, and we need to make 1 yard. And it was, I think that I remember that sequence of plays where our offensive line could do absolutely nothing. And it's not rocket science there. And I remember that, and I just think, whether it be lack of continuity, strength training, not having an off season, at that point it's just man to man, and it's man up and get a yard, and we couldn't do it. And I think that was the most demoralizing series that we had all last year. Well, there was probably many in the two-win season, but
sure,
that's kind of where I am. What do you think about that?
I see what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think Baylor probably still is trying to take that next step in terms of physicality. Like Drake and I both talked about that, how there needs to be sort of an attitude change, it feels like. Now, whether that's the case or not, maybe we're way off base. We're not in that locker room, but that's the way it feels, is they didn't really have that edge to them, and maybe you lose that with the COVID season. But I do agree. I think for depth, that would be really awesome. I think it'd be great to have some guys in to potentially be someone to step up if someone went down, God forbid. But I really just think it's so hard to walk in to a Division I offensive line without spring ball and know how to be competent in terms of what you're supposed to do from a schematic standpoint. Like that's really asking a lot from me. Now, I agree. I think they will be more physical this year. I think the strength coach and the new offensive line coach with the coach Valoria Mateos, that's going to be a big improvement, I think. I think we saw it in the spring game, too. We saw at least they looked bigger. Physicality is something you develop. And again, maybe I'm speaking off base there, not in that locker room, but that's the way it feels. Is it'd be tough to walk in day one and be able to contribute how you would want someone to contribute on your offensive line.
And I also think, it's the production of our offensive line is probably going to determine the starting quarterback. I mean, you have more of a pocket passer in Zeno versus, somebody who can run. And, my 2 cents is if we don't have an offensive line that can block, you're probably looking at Bohanna as a starter. And I'm not advocating for either one, but, and I hate to say this, I worry about a TCU game next year because TCU is going to have a stout defense this year. I'm up in Fort Worth and I've seen them play, and they are tough. And it's not a given. If you can't, that offensive line is really the domino effect for a lot of things on the team next year. I have confidence they're going to do better, but that's it. But man, you guys are fantastic, and love the new segment. I watched it this morning, JD, so good job.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Jason?
Yes, sir.
There he is. Bear Games question of the day. Jason, your most immaculate, your greatest, your favorite, the best individual performance you've ever had in sports. What was it?
Oh, my gosh. My team has a little blip in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. The Crum Bobcats, north of Denton, Texas, back before we even had football. we had, I can't even remember, it was hundreds of district victories in a row, set the state record. I was on one of those teams. Dude, we used to have to run lines. Our coach would make us run lines when we were for any point scored over 30 by the opposing district, team. Because I remember we beat. I had a chance to go see Michael Jordan sit courtside one night on homecoming night, and I wanted to miss the game just to go see Jordan play against the Mavericks. But stayed, obviously played the game. We won 119-24 against Paradise. I scored 30 points. So there's my old man story right there. I think that was probably my greatest individual performance in my life. But other than maybe beating J.J. Joe and the football team in the murals back at Mars McLean back in the day. So that was also quite epic. So
MJ should have come and seen you.
So.
MJ should have come and seen you courtside.
Say that again?
Said MJ was missing out, man. He should have come and watched you courtside drop 30.
Exactly. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I could have seen, I don't even know who it was back then. I mean, James Donaldson, Mark Aguirre, Michael Jordan. What a matchup. I mean, I don't know. But
wow. Well, Jason,
anyway,
thanks for your call, man.
That's all I got for today, boys. And I'm so grateful to answer my first Bear Games question. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, we will. Thanks for your call again,
Jason.
We got on the backside of that, Stephen from Virginia on the caller line as well. Stephen, this is his 195th call. That was Jason's 10th call, by the way.
Let's go, Jason.
Stephen,
first Bear Games.
195.
Did you say 95 or 195? Because I heard T-Rex just got 100 the other day, and so I'm actually going to have to scale back what I'm doing now because I'm kind of worried.
195, 109.5.
Yes, sir. Top two, and he's not two.
Well, I came here to ask y'all a question.
Nice.
This is proposed to the whole show. Will the new offensive zone running and spreading it out scheme be more similar to what we ran in the past with Coach Briles? And because of that, will it lend itself to recruiting Texas better?
Wow, that's a really good question.
That is a really good question. I want to say, because the thing is, look at the lack of mobility of what Zach Smith did last year at Zach Smith?
Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Zach Smith's a fraternity brother of mine. Look at the lack of mobility for Zach Wilson in comparison to the mobility of an RG3 in Briles' system. And I think if you ask Briles, he probably would have wanted a little bit more of a mobile quarterback than Zach Wilson. But also then look at Bryce Petty and Nick Florence, who weren't the most athletic, sprinting, running, get it out there guys. Mm-hmm. They weren't RG3.
Sure.
I think it's going to be comparable, remotely comparable. I think this offense may look to run first a little bit more, though, than you would have gotten out of the Briles era. I don't think this offense is going to score as much either, because sometimes not scoring as many points, hear me out here, sometimes a lower scoring offense can help you win ball games when you're putting the game in the hands of your defense. That is your strong suit.
I would agree with that. I think with Briles, we saw some crazy splits. You saw receivers lining up at the bottom of the numbers close to the sideline. I think this will be a little more conventional than that, and I agree with Drake. I think you'll see a heavier dose of the run game. Not to say they didn't run the ball a lot when Briles was here, but I think you'll see less deep shots down the sideline, probably push the ball more down the hash. But I do think this offense wants to run the football to really set up the pass. Not that Briles didn't do that. I think it'll be a different flavor. So, ultimately, to answer your question about recruiting, if you score a lot of points, if you're able to win a lot of games, you're going to get a lot of recruits. So I think that it can be attractive if they're able to have it be somewhat explosive, if that makes any sense.
Well, I definitely think that they're not going to – I agree with what Drake's saying about not scoring as many points be a good thing because, I'm sure that, Coach Bennett's defenses were gassed when Tevin Reese was taking the first play to the house and they had just gotten off the field. So I definitely understand that. I would say that Coach Briles' teams ran the ball more than 50% of the time. They were just so explosive with the pass that no one really remembers that.
Right.
I'm personally a big fan of running the football, especially with what we're doing. I think y'all have heard me say that because, kind of what Jason said, if they're not going to be able to block real well, it's not really going to matter how great, Gary's spiral is. And Gary's spiral is pretty great, when it's not in the other team's hands. And I don't really feel like, just my opinion, that we're looking at the explosive offense this year. And because maybe that takes a little bit of time to develop, maybe right now a ground and pound and try to not throw the ball, turn the ball over approach, the way Coach Rule was doing it with Charlie, the way they did in 2019 would kind of, Charlie was responsible for like 27 touchdowns and had, running and passing and had maybe 5 interceptions. That's the kind of season we would need from our quarterback to win the way I think, and I really love your show today, JD, and I think that would be the kind of offense we would need to get out of the quarterback position to do what you think that we're capable of doing, which I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I think the ceiling's really high. Ceiling's really high. You get the right guy.
Steven, Bear Games question of the day, your best ever individual performance. What is it for you? Still that 30-pointer?
It would either be that or after senior year, we had the high school all-stars, and we played, like the Richmond played the Fredericksburg and all that, and we did a little tournament for like charity or whatever. And I had a particularly good, it was like a weekend series, and I think I went 400 over the series. So, and that was pretty impressive, especially considering most of the guys that we played against, are way better than I was. So I'll probably go with that one because, the 30 points was a little bit of a revenge, but, most of those guys aren't that much better than your average dude at basketball anyway. So I felt like that was probably my best performance.
Lock it in. Hey, Steven, thanks for your call. Let's get you to 200 here soon.
Later, guys.
5 more.
Later, Steve.
5 more, Steve.
I love it. How about, what's yours? Greatest individual feat?
Like in life or sports?
Sports.
That's a really good question. My greatest, I think, accolade would be I got to be first team all-league when I was in high school in California in a league that I was really proud to be able to have that feat, if that makes sense. A lot of good players. In terms of, I didn't have any crazy stats, to be honest with you. And Pop Warner had some pretty crazy stats because it was like just quarterback sweep right, quarterback sweep left. I think there was one game I had maybe like 5 touchdowns, 300 yards.
Wow.
And Pop Warner. Pop Warner, dude. Pop Warner was so fun.
Any individual game past that, whether it be college or high school, that you just went off in any sport?
We lost Sacred Heart my sophomore year. I think I had like over 100 yards total offense and a touchdown. Yeah, man. Pretty quiet statistical. I think I was good for yards per touch. Like I had some like 2 games, I think, or no, 1 game I had like 2 catches for like 70 yards or something like that. So there's some explosiveness there, which was good.
Little League baseball, probably 7th or 8th grade. First, I'd never pitched before, but then I like filled out. I was like 6 feet tall, and I was just this long, lanky kid. Went out there, and I told the coach I wanted to pitch. I had never pitched before, and he was like, all right, I'll give you a shot at it. And got out. The lines that they painted on the field were crooked. So, like, I'm looking at the batter's box, and while I'm looking at the plate, while the plate and the pitcher's mound they're still straight.
Sure.
The lines were off by just enough to where it looked like I was throwing, sideways. Like, it was so confusing. Threw 8 straight balls on my first 8 pitches.
Hey, that's okay.
Top of the first inning of my ever pitching of my debut. And then I remember the next pitch I threw was a little bit high, and the umpire gave it to me, and I was like, "That's it. It's ball game
smoking
here
that.
on." I threw a 1-hitter. I threw a complete game. First game of Little League as a pitcher. Walked the first 2 guys, then tossed a 1-hitter. They didn't get a hit until the last.
That's actually
inning.
epic.
Yeah. So
that's dope.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Tossing a 1-hitter in my first. That was probably the best individual feat.
Hey, man. When you got the juice, you got the juice.
Got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
There you go.
Drake Toll, J.D. PicKell. We got Marquise Cooley and Jack McKenzie. When we come back, celebrity birthdays, this day in sports history. This is Don't Go Anywhere. Up Tempo.
Happy Wednesday, Baylor Nation. Halfway through the work week and one day closer to a big weekend in Baylor athletics. Starting with major news from yesterday, Nikki Cullen has officially hired her first assistant with the women's basketball program, as she will retain Director of Athletic Performance Jeremy Heffner. Heffner spent 9 seasons with Kim Mulkey and has been a part of 17 Big 12 championships. Heffner is noted as saying, after meeting with Coach Cullen, there is no doubt in my mind we can continue a winning legacy here at Baylor. Heffner is a certified strength and conditioning coach and was recently awarded a Master Strength and Conditioning Coach Award. This is a splash hire for Colin, showing she's committed to continuity. Elsewhere, the tennis teams received their preseason conference accolades. Fifth-year senior Charlie Broom was unanimously named Newcomer of the Year, and Adrian Boitan and Matias Soto both earned unanimous All-Big 12 first team. And the doubles pairings of Konstantin Franzen and Sven Law earned first-team all-conference honors. Baylor has now had at least one player named to the All-Big 12 singles team each of the last 24 seasons. 3 Bears were honored on the women's side, with Mel Krewoj becoming the first Lady Bear since 2015 to earn a spot on the Big 12 first team in singles, while Krewoj and Angie Shakarchuk took home first-team all-conference honors in doubles. And, around the nation, ex-Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan died yesterday at 37. The footballer finished third in Heisman voting in 2007 and is second in collegiate history with 58 touchdowns thrown in a season. I'm Jack McKenzie, in for Armstrong Sims, and that's all the news that is news in college sports. This has been Jack's Minute on SicEm365 Radio's Up Tempo.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Salsa Drap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
It's a name and a memory that called us back. It's a belief and a labor that will carry us forward. It's a time and experience that will make you return. The new Bear Ridge Golf Club, a space revitalized, a course restored, a new experience. For a tee time today, call the Pro Shop at 254-848-7800. Go to BearRidgeWaco.com, just south of Waco on Highway 84. Come join us at Bear Ridge Golf Club.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recall drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at TexasTrialLawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
What you do in privacy is your own business. What you do in public with your truck, well, that's our business at Pickup Outfitters. In your garage, it's okay for your truck to parade around in the nude with no accessories. Hey, this is still America. But when you bring your truck out in public, it's just common decency to put an outfit on your truck. And that's where we come in at Pickup Outfitters. Put a cover on that bed. Cover your rear end with a bumper and a hitch, for goodness sakes. There are women and children on the roads. And guys, don't leave your tools exposed. Put them in a toolbox. Be proud of your truck and stand tall with a lift kit. Or improve your truck's posture with a leveling kit. Add some class to your pickup with new wheels and tires. Or dress up for a date with your new RV or boat with a fifth wheel or a receiver hitch. At Pickup Outfitters, we're dedicating to making the roads decent for all Central Texans. So when taking your truck out in public, remember your manners and accessorize it properly with an outfit from Pickup Outfitters. 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Welcome back to Up Tempo on SicEm365 Radio.
Paulie, give me some of your tots. No, go find your own. Come on, give me some of your tots. No, I'm freaking starved. I didn't get to eat anything today.
Call us on the Impact Health Labs caller line at 254-339-1122.
Brian, don't be jealous that I've been chatting online with Dave all day.
Your place for a Baylor take on your lunch break. Here's Drake Toll.
And I was like, if you think that's an avocado and it's very clearly a mango, you've got mental problems.
They said that's an avocado no for me.
That was bad.
I'm sorry, but we're actually back. That's on
Welcome back into the Petty Clinic's Low T Bears Den. Thanks
shoot.
for turning our audio down. Now I can hear it now. Celebrity birthdays. Boom. We've got Draconite Dragon is having a birthday today. Happy birthday, Draconite Dragon.
Birthday, Mr. Dragon.
How old?
102.
Close. Jack? Nope. 23.
23?
Draconite Dragon. YouTube star.
No way.
Tony Hawk.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with 50.
Okay.
52.
53.
Oh.
Rami Malek.
We were close.
Rami Malek played in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody.
33.
Okay.
36.
40. Very surprised to see he's 40. That's crazy.
Aged well.
Emilio Estevez, who is Uncle Rico in...
No way, Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
He's got to be older right now, huh? Let's say I'll give him 62.
Okay.
58.
59.
Ooh,
59.
Nice, Jack.
Florence Nightingale, very dead. Would have been how old today?
150?
Okay.
207.
Florence Nightingale would have been 201. Big day for the Nightingale family.
200.
Big day for the Nightingale.
We're not way off except for Dragonite, I guess.
George Carlin, the comedian.
Ooh, I don't know George Carlin. You know George Carlin?
No.
Okay, well, that's too bad. He was 84.
No way.
Wow, that's eerie.
Yeah, Jack.
That was creepy.
That's eerie. That's the best thing. That's the best one we've had in Celebrity.
That was awesome.
Diet Coke's getting to me. First official county cricket championship match begins. Yorkshire beats Gloucestershire by 8 wickets at Bristol. James Cranston scores first century in the competition.
That was ESPNU. I remember that day.
Yep. This is a big one.
1892.
1744.
1890. Wow. Immaculate.
Okay.
Ernie Banks hits his 500th home run in what year?
1937.
56.
70.
Ooh.
IPL cricket final. Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium. Hyderabad. Mumbai Indians beat Chennai Super Kings by 1 run. Jasprit Bumrah, 2 of 14-4. Indians' 4th title.
I had Boomer on my fantasy team. Give me 2007.
Later, guys.
2019, I'm Drake Toll, J.D. PicKell, Marquise Cooley, Jack McKenzie, and that has been the show all day today, all of the show, and it will always be the show. When you come back tomorrow, there will be more of the show. I'll tell you what, this has been up-tempo all day, every day, and I say all day because it's the only 3 hours that I'm awake. The rest of this time, I'm charging right there in that closet, and I'll come back out at 11 a.m. It's like Groundhog Day, but not. This has been up-tempo.